Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it may be. Welcome to The House That Happens, presented live every week from Chewy's Bar and Grill. Although this week we're recording from 409 Collision Center. I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name's Cruz.
Cruz, Happy New Year. How you doing?
Happy New Year, buddy. How did it go for you?
It was good. We had a nice, quiet New Year's at my sister and her fiance's place, Alexandra Mitchell. His family was over too. We had a great time. Played some Jackbox, sang some karaoke.
Cool.
It was a good night.
I always think that New Year's Eve is amateur night. So since we didn't have anything planned, me and my lovely lady, Mrs. G, we had a beautiful steak dinner.
Beautiful.
Cracked a little bit of wine and had an absolutely very comfortable night, because when you're hanging out with your best friend, you're always having a good time, don't you think?
Absolutely. What type of wine do you crack open?
We had a bottle of Gato Negro Chilean red wine.
Oh, Chilean.
Yeah.
Good wine from South America.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I drink too much of it, but that's okay. It's good. It was very good. It goes great with steak.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, we had a nice, very, very nice New Year's Eve dinner. Just a couple of us, and we had a good time. We cracked a tiny bottle of champagne at midnight, and everything was cool. Our dog was there, too. Shout out to Stanley.
Shout out Stanley.
Stanley was hanging, too, so that was all good. You know what I mean? What else was going on at New Year's at the time that I thought was interesting was the amount of people that were out there going to places that they thought they were going to have fun, and the next day they yelled that they spent too much money doing stupid stuff.
Oops.
Well, that's what I said, too.
Yeah.
You know, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, like what, going out to the club, that kind of thing?
Yeah. And spending exorbitant amount, double the money on everything you're doing, and was it worth it?
I hate clubbing anyways, so.
Okay, that's a good thing. I'm not saying I'm not pro or con. I'm too old to do it. If you find the right club to do it, the right band, I think part of the reasons is Chewy's will be back next year, because last couple of years, which I really like about New Year's, when we really don't have plans, a bunch of people that we've known and we hang out with all year fall into Chewy's, have a few beers, say Happy New Year's, all like our company, and we're on our way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, so we kind of missed that, but we'll be back soon. We'll do it again.
Chewy's will be open before you know it, right?
Thank you very much. That's why we're holding the banner for it now. So when all you people are asking me for it, Chewy's will be back with a bang.
Back better than ever. Of course, a lot happened in sports over the past week.
It was a great week of sports. But before we go on, I think there's a little thing that happens that we want to identify as a house that happens that in this pop culture, internet world and all that stuff that goes on. There's lots of things that happen where sports pour over into real life. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So some of the things that have been really on the market this week, Andrew, you can tell me to shut up at any time. There's two things that happened this week that I have to say. Let's get back to the sports element of it. And one thing is this. I don't want to be negative about the whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift conundrum, so to speak. However,
yet here we are.
We're killing it right here. We're killing it here at the House Happens, because
this is the third time you've said that we're killing it. But
okay. Maybe I'm making a mistake, but the reason that I'm killing it is because I want to put it into this perspective. Long before there was a Travis Kelce or there was a Taylor Swift, thanks, bud, a Taylor Swift, there was old men like me watching football. Okay, So what I'm trying to say is that if out of all these people we find 3 or 4 girls that have become football fans for the rest of their life, that is amazing. But I don't want to tell people that they don't like the way that they're being perceived in public because of how old school football guys are saying things, because the reason we're watching it is because we like football. It's got nothing to, I'm going to, you said before the show, I'm going to watch football if Oprah comes down or anybody else. I'm going to watch football. So I would just wish once and for all we could kind of move that over there. Like we've mentioned before, I seen the other night, Will Ferrell was hilarious at the LA Kings game. That's great. How long were they on Will Ferrell?
I feel they show Will Ferrell too much too.
Okay, well,
on the Canadian, especially on the Canadian broadcast. It's like, oh my God, a celebrity at a hockey game. Oh my God, that might be part of our inferiority complex here, but
it could be. You never know. You know what I'm saying? But my bottom line is this: it doesn't matter what happened. People have to realize that the reason that they're in position to make the money that they are, the popularity that they have is because of guys like me and you, Mr. Milani. We're watching for what reason? We want to see the highest level of competition that we can possibly see. All the other stuff is frivolous. So I'm just, my rant is, and I won't bring it up again, is I don't care about that stuff. Does it add to the game? Is it going to make the Detroit Lions?
No, but you're not the only one watching.
What's that?
You're not the only one watching.
And all those people are watching are great, but that's a sideshow that I'm going, okay, it's enough. You know what I mean? And the Will Ferrell thing is interesting because you are right. He was funny the other night, but I thought of you. He was a little overexposed.
Well, it's show business, right? You can't
Exactly.
it's they go hand in hand, right? So
I go to the J.J. Watt school where he says this: after all is said and done, sports is still an entertainment business.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? How you're going to look at it. Which brings us to the second major thing that happened this week, which I don't understand at all. But they said the seriousness of the joke was not a joke, so to speak. So does anyone know, if you must be living in a cave, if you do not realize the little Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers, what do you call it, dispute?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel said that he was going to sue Aaron Rodgers for.
Okay, so let's put it from my perspective. First of all, I am a Detroit Lion disciple, so for me to sit here and have to even think about defending Aaron Rodgers is rough.
It's crazy if you've ever listened to an episode of the show. It's hard to fathom even.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so, but Jimmy Kimmel can get on any night of the week, and he's been dragging Aaron Rodgers' dick in the dirt for a while.
Yeah.
Doing some shit, saying some stuff. We don't have to go through it all. However, there's a serious thing going on in the world that we want to bring up, and I think everyone should be shot that's involved in this whole supposed Epstein list. But Rodgers made an offhand comment. I wonder if Jimmy Kimmel's name's on the list.
No, he said the line was like, I wonder if Kimmel is worried that the list is going to get out or something.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. But it was an offhand comment.
Yeah.
I actually watched the show live when Aaron Rodgers said it. I giggled and went on. To me, it did not seem like that it was going to blow up to something of this level. That's that got my mind. Anyway, my point being is that's the kind of things that interfere with the fact of I want to know who's playing this weekend during the game, what the point spread is, what are the field conditions is. I'm not really concerned about Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel having a pissing match.
No, fuck Jimmy Kimmel.
Thank you. Okay, at the house that happened. So we're not going to bring these up. We're just going to say that we would like to prefer in the future, we're going to try to talk little about this unless it's really in our faces, because what we're trying to do, it all comes back to the game.
Yes. What's between the lines?
What's between the lines is what's going on. We understand it is a business, and we also understand it's an entertainment. No matter you look at it, it's an entertainment. Football is a show. Baseball is a show. Hockey is a show. So that's just our little understanding at the house that happens. We want to keep you motivated by the greatness of the games and not by people having pissing matches. One other little quick thing before I say, everybody out there, please go listen to the Cat Williams interview on the Shannon Sharp Show.
Oh, yeah, that was making headlines too, especially he threw a lot of shade at the Joe Rogan and his buddies and whatever the comedians that he's always hyping up, that half of them aren't even funny. But
oh, no, and I'm a big Cat Williams fan, and I'm glad he came back. I've only seen half of it. I'm going to go home to see it the rest of the day. If you've never seen a Cat Williams special, go watch him now. The guy's funny as hell. But he's
might be one of the goats of comedy.
Oh, he's right up there. But his intellectual articulation is what will surprise you. Big shout out to Shannon Sharp for doing such a great job on something like that. So and by the way, Cat Williams is a mad sports fan. You see him at the courtside at the games. I think when he was in Sacramento and LA, but huge sports fan, and that's one of the other reasons I'm bringing it up. So what have you been observing this week in sports, buddy?
Well, first of all, I'd like to give a big shout out to Tajan Buchanan. He just got bought by Inter Milan, a reported fee of 7 million euros plus 3 million euros in add-ons, whatever that means. It's going to be a 4.5-year deal with the Italian club. First Canadian player playing in the Italian Serie A, which is just cool as fuck, especially for someone like me.
Well, not only that, as we all know, I'm not the biggest footy guy in the world. However, the fact that we've got a Canadian on an international stage like that bodes well for all the kids that are coming up.
It's been growing, right? There's already a few of them playing in Ligue 1 in France, and there's been Canadians in the Premier League before.
But I mean, to have someone sign on this scale is absolutely excellent for everything soccer in Canada. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Especially on a grassroots level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anything that promotes sport on this level, the house that happens is all about that. Congratulations, young man. I hope you have a great career. How old is he now anyway?
Tajan Buchanan is 24 years old, so plenty of road left to go for the young man. Wish him the best in Serie A. Don't do too much diving there.
Okay, that's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Also, Alphonso Davies could be on the move. I don't know if you've heard those rumors.
Really?
Yeah, it's. I believe Real Madrid is the front runner to sign him away from Bayern Munich.
That's a huge signing, isn't it?
That would be.
That would be mega.
Arguably the best left back in the world too. So.
Is it true that the Saudis are sniffing around him? I heard the Saudis are sniffing around everybody,
right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go there. I hear you.
I don't imagine he wants to go, especially at his age. He probably is a little bit more concerned with playing competitive soccer.
Oh, agreed. Because he's still young. Was he 28?
23.
Or 23. Wow, he's still. I've seen him play. He's good player.
Fantastic player.
Fantastic.
Moving on, something that you're interested in is college football. We had all the bowl games finishing up with one more left to go, obviously, the national championship. I want to talk a little bit about this Pop-Tarts Bowl, though, the edible mascot.
No. Before we go into that, I love all that. This is number one thing we got to say. Go Blue, Michigan. Did you see what we did on New Year's Day?
Incredible.
Come out there. I want to say that we have the best front nine because they rotate them in. Nick Saban, great coach. I think the one thing that people escaped is the fact that Alabama played good defense too. It all got, there was no offense.
Defense was the story of the game.
Exactly, and I like a good defensive game. I just want to a big shout out to J.J. McCarthy, who Tom Brady has now endorsed as the greatest quarterback to ever play for the University of Michigan. And I'm backing that all the way. Go Blue. I am excited. I'm going to tell you this much. By the time they put the game on Monday night at 8 o'clock, I will be electric. I will be wired. I am ready to go. I will be in my Michigan gear. And if we win, Chivas Regal will be the drink of choice that night.
I think this game could be a little bit lopsided.
Well, the thing is, the kid, Penix Jr., the quarterback for Washington, I have already predicted he will be a regular starter in the NFL in the next couple of years.
Is he going into the draft this year?
100%. Not only the guy, he's a lefty like Tua.
Okay.
Not only that, but his deep ball accuracy is stunning. Like, there's not a lot of guys in the NFL can lay a ball out there. He's got 3 good wide receivers.
Yep.
So they could make it a game because it's going to go to this. If you watch anything about college football, the word is now, and I'm going to go this way because it seems to be history does that. They say Washington Huskies has the best offensive line in the country. Oh, by the way, Michigan has the best front seven in the country. So something's got to shake.
Sure.
On Monday night. And you know what I'm thinking? And all you people that talk to me on the street and have been saying stuff, I don't want to say F you, but when we win, I'm taking receipts.
Okay.
I'm taking receipts, okay? Now let's talk about this Pop-Tart.
The Pop-Tart Bowl. The first edible mascot was at the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Absolutely hilarious.
He went into the toaster. And that was hilarious.
And I even forget who was playing. Was it Good Schools? But one of the things I want to bring about college football is I can't remember it. I had it written down here somewhere. The Pop-Tart thing was really, really cool. And it drew attention to the game, and it's going to bring it over there. But we got a problem with college football that we should...
It was at Kansas State, North Carolina State.
Oh, yeah. Kansas team was in there. In any event, we got a little problem here with NILs and stuff like this. Let's put it this way. Florida State cried like little bitches when they didn't get their chance to go to the game.
And then, the Orange Bowl was an absolute joke.
Okay, so they didn't send all their guys out there, and they
what was the score of the Orange Bowl again?
I don't know. 63 went up.
63-3.
Yeah, but you know what?
No other bowl game with top teams even came close to that much of a point differential. It was insane.
But not only that, it was an embarrassment to college football because Georgia got upset by Alabama. There's some pundits in the country that still say Georgia could still be the best team in the country. They just on any given Sunday they lost. So they had nothing to gain. They're 2-time national championships.
They were resting a bunch of guys too.
And they showed up. They showed up and won the game.
But I mean, that probably just speaks to the caliber of that program, though, that even like their non-starters are able to pummel Florida State like that.
Well, I think part of the reason they sacked guys is because when they realized 29 guys from Florida State were not going to play. Come on. That's an embarrassment. And they were all saying, well, it's because of this, because of that.
I'm draft.
Okay, so I'm not an Alabama guy at all. Never have, never will be. You got to respect Nick Saban when he talks about the game. And he says he brings his players into the room because there's a William McGahee thing from years ago when he played in the Sugar Bowl and blew out his knee. He would have been a top 5 guy. Was never the same. They said, well, if he didn't play in the Sugar Bowl, hey, you could get hit by a car walking across the street.
Yep.
Okay? The bottom line is he says he sits the players down and says, here is your option. This is what you want to do. And Alabama actually gives these kids money to decide if they want to buy an insurance policy. That's absolutely incredible in the world of sports. That I think it should be commended at a school that big, because like they're this, they're that, they're the NFL run through or whatever. Interesting way to put it that you would actually take the time to have consideration for the players, which is now a semi-pro league.
Yeah, it really is.
Do you hear the money that they say that Archie Manning in Texas may be making and he hasn't thrown it down yet? Insane.
All because of the name.
He's got talent. So,
well, I mean, if he had that talent without the name, do you think he'd get it paid as much money?
The guy from North Carolina that's going into the portal, or not North Carolina, one of the other schools going into the portal that's going down to, I think it's Baylor or one of the school. They say it's $2 million.
Wow.
$2 million going down the line.
Nice little chunk of change.
Well, you're a millionaire leaving college. So here's the deal. We're going to end our college football note on this. Besides, go blue, and we're going to win. I expect us to win by 10.
Is this going to be Harbaugh's last game with the Wolverines?
Let's talk about something else. We'll do that in the football segment.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm going to end the college football thing by saying one thing. Give Reggie Bush back his Heisman Trophy.
Hell yes.
You know what I'm saying? Do you see where Cleve Williams lives in L.A.? Do you see his condo? Oh, my God. Well, Reggie Bush got a condo, lost his Heisman. Give Reggie back. The house that happens is going to campaign for Reggie Bush. Please get his Heisman back.
Absolutely. We'll take this into the World Junior Hockey Championship. Canada upset in the quarterfinals by Czechia. USA winning the gold medal. Sweden winning silver. Czechia ended up winning bronze. I don't know if you saw any of that game, the crazy ending where
unbelievable.
Czechia, 4 goals in 50 seconds, a new tournament record.
100%.
They go into the final couple minutes down 5-4. All of a sudden, they leave the game up 8-5.
It's amazing. And you know what? Give this team credit. They gave Canada all we could handle.
Yeah.
The Americans had to beat them in overtime.
Wasn't it? In the group stage?
In the group stage, yes. So you got to look at it this way. The Czechs had a great. They
went to a shootout.
Yeah. Then in about 8 shootouts or whatever. So I just want to say one thing. I'm not going to say. Everyone says it was a bad goal. That with 10 seconds left, the goal that went in that they got knocked out on was a fluky goal. Okay. My question is, we should have been better than that, so we shouldn't have to worry about a fluky goal, because I thought the team was a little bit lethargic. Yeah. I didn't think they ever developed an identity, and don't blame the goalies.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Although it does kind of speak to a problem of Canadians developing goalies, which has kind of steadily become a bit more of a problem the last 20 years.
Well, but they were saying that's in a lot of other countries too.
But we're Canada.
Well,
Do you remember 2002 Olympics? Ed Belfour couldn't even make it on the bench. That's how stacked we were in net.
Point well taken. Anyways, I think that the Americans were, who were the pre-tournament favorites, went undefeated, had 8 scorers of the top 13 in the tournament, 9 guys that are already going straight to the NHL. They've been playing for 3 years in a row. Congratulations to the Americans on a great, great tournament. And they are now, what, 3rd most junior championships? Canada first, being Russia second, I believe.
That makes sense to me. That checks out. And I mean, as much as it sucks that Canada didn't win, I mean, It is good for hockey that other teams do win this tournament.
We'll be back in Ottawa next year, and we're going to take it all back. But I want to ask you a question. Did you see the end of the shenanigans at the Sweden-United States game yesterday?
Those extracurriculars?
Oh, extracurriculars. Okay.
Well, I mean, the game was a blowout, right?
Okay. God bless America. Everything that they say about bad Americans, I don't think it was that bad. But these guys were whipping their dicks out by the third period. It was just, I was getting a kick out of it. They were trying to get the crowd to cheer more. The dude that said he's good looking, putting his hair back on the thing. But what I didn't like is it got really, really that Sweden. When has Sweden ever been tough?
I wouldn't say that's what they make their bread on.
Okay, so then they send out a 6'5" monkey who's played one shift in the tournament to push around the smallest guy in the American team. That was Bush.
That's a bitch move.
Damn right it was. And not only that, did you see the handshake line? I thought it was going to turn into WWE. It got pretty ugly.
Not many guys exchanging Facebooks on there.
Oh, no. And not only that, one of the Sweden guys they had to tell him to take his helmet on. He reached out to put his medal in his hand. It's like the kid the other year that threw his
in the stands.
Oh, yeah.
I love that, by the way.
I did
hilarious.
too. I did. You know what that means? That's competitive spirit.
Hell yeah!
I want that guy.
I want the gold.
Yeah, I don't want this. I always believe in that. I like the Czech celebration though, because it brought their program back, and they weren't supposed to be there. Like they won the bronze medal, and they had a pretty cool celebration, and they did some cool shit. So I dig that.
Yeah, I mean, the Czech program, it was in trouble there for a little bit, but they're slowly building their way back up, which is good because Czechia, they should be one of like the great hockey nations up there with Sweden and Finland, right?
When I was your age, they were.
Yeah.
You know
they
what I mean?
made it to the finals of the first Canada Cup, I believe.
Yes,
it was Czechoslovakia, but what do you think of Germany just barely avoiding relegation?
Bad time to be a German.
But, I mean, going to overtime against Norway, like... crazy.
I
don't think anyone would have anticipated that because going into this tournament.
Well, the funny thing is that the Germans are trying to get a higher profile on the hockey world, and every time they take a step forward, they seem to take a step back.
Yeah, but I mean, they hang on for now.
Yeah.
So if they could come back next year and make it to the semis or wherever, we won't even be talking about this.
Point well taken. And it is in Ottawa next year, people, in the nation's capital.
And Kazakhstan will be joining the tournament next year as the 10th team.
Are they allowed back in?
What do you mean? They were never kicked out.
I thought
it's Russia and Belarus.
Oh, Belarus, yeah.
Because they're the ones. Kazakhstan, I guess they're pro Borat. So
there you go. We'll give them that. And we can give them nothing else.
They'll be in the top division next year. So great to see for Kazakhstan. Great for Nick Antropov and Evgeny Nabokov, even though Nabokov played for Russia. But
that's another story. I just want to say this. I did not turn off the tournament when Canada lost. I still wanted to see some of the prospects out there. I wanted to see the quality of the game. Up until the third period, that Sweden-Canada game was highly entertaining. Sweden-American game was highly entertaining. The Finland-Czech game was highly entertaining. So the fact that we got quality hockey just because our country wasn't there, which was a bitch, pissed me off. When that goal went in the net, I was like, give me a break. I rolled one up just to take the edge off. It was just like, what a way to lose. But at the same time, we shouldn't have put ourselves in that position.
I agree.
That's what it is. So till next year in Ottawa, great tournament. Always glad that, and it's coming back in Canada every year because we're one of the countries that keeps it on the cutting edge.
Oh yeah, it pretty much doesn't make money unless it comes to Canada, from what I understand.
Sweden made money this year. They were well prepared.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think
but that's not always the case.
No, I think part of the rivalry though, which I did not know until last night's game, is that these teams that played in the finals actually have seen each other. A lot of these players have seen each other a lot in the last couple of years because they both won the under-18 tournament in last year. 1 year Sweden won, 1 year America won.
Yeah, so they're very familiar.
Very familiar, hence the reason that we had a little bit of, what would you call it, not so friendly handshakes at the end of a game?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll take this from junior hockey to women's hockey with the PWHL started on New Year's Day. First game occurred in Toronto versus New York. Toronto lost that game 4-0. Connie Schroeder had fantastic performance for New York in net. Toronto getting the best of New York last night, though, when they played in New York.
With that funny rule.
Yes, the funny shorthanded rule. So I guess that's what we're going to get right into. So in this league, if you score a shorthanded goal, you kill off the penalty.
That is the most ridiculous thing. That is so 2024. You know what I mean? That is so gimmickry. That is so TikTok.
I mean, I kind of understand it. Where it's like,
what's there to understand?
oh, you let the other guy score when you're up a man. Like go sit in the corner, basically.
So what? You know, that happens all the time. It could just, the pop bump over this thing. Like, okay.
I think it's going to cause too many problems. Just like there's going to be a situation where it's like, it's 4-on-4, and then the other team's going to get a player back, and then like they're going to score a shorthanded goal, but it's really like an even strength one because the guy was coming out of the box. Then teams are going to complain, and then we're going to go
now
right
you're
back
really,
to...
yeah, it's confusing. You're confusing me. Like, don't make my head spin like that. I think what they're doing is they're using the girls as a guinea pig thing because I think all the other leagues are watching this.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, usually, like, whatever day they...
What if this catches on, though?
I'll lose my shit. I'll completely lose my mind. You know what I mean? I will say this. Look, I've watched a couple of the girls' games already. The quality of the games is good. I think the speed of the game is excellent. You know, and there is
I agree.
There's a modicum of hitting going on. Because
sure.
You are allowed to check in women's hockey, isn't it?
Really, no. But I mean,
the open ice stuff happens. Yeah.
Yeah, although like I heard one of my favorite sayings, and my favorite sayings is a saying that I can't fucking stand when they're like, oh, they put the whistles away in the first game. I'm like, oh my god.
We're gonna get to that later. That's you just freaking
it's a
stepped
penalty
on my
or
toe.
not. I don't get hockey, especially like come playoff time at the change. Whatever. We've been here a million times.
Bottom line, great start for the league. A good crowd in New York last night.
Yeah, did they play that one where the Islanders play? Because I know New York, they have two home arenas. It's where the Islanders play, and they have like another one.
Yeah, they were on Nassau Coliseum or the old whatever that place is.
No, the new one that they have.
Yeah.
What UBS, I believe it's called.
Yeah, but they had a good crowd. A good crowd. And
good to see.
And not only that, I forget who was there. There was actually, not that we were carrying or not, but it was good to see. I forget which couple of female celebrities were there. I'd have to check it again to see who it is. I always it's like me, like you told me a good point. Remember the guy's name that you're talking about. But anyways,
they had, Billie Jean King read out the starting lineups in the Toronto locker room.
That's what I'm saying, like that. You know what I mean?
They had one. There was like someone significant that did it for the Ottawa game. I can't remember it, but that Ottawa-Montreal game, that was a pretty good one too. One of the first games of the season.
Love the speed of the game. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's quality hockey.
Yeah, and one thing that initially bugged me was that the teams have no nicknames, just Toronto, New York, Ottawa, Montreal, Minnesota, Boston. That's it.
Okay. So
I'm going somewhere with this. So one of the points that I heard that actually kind of made me think and go, was that this gives a chance for the nicknames to come about organically from the fan bases, which is quite a unique opportunity. I think that's really cool.
So I can start thinking of names for the Toronto girls team off the top of my head.
Uh-oh, be careful.
I'm not going to say a word. My lawyer is not present.
Because I heard, I'm your lawyer. It's okay.
Oh, that's right. Okay, we're good.
Just if it's on the record here, there's nothing I could do to save you. You already put it out there.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to be nice. In the new year, it's more civility and more positivity.
Because I heard rumors that Toronto was going to be like the Toronto Towers, which is like, oh my God. That was going to be the original name for the Blue Jays, I think, too, which is just a terrible name.
I heard another name, too, that's related to Toronto, not just the Towers. What would it be? Something historically that was another horrible name like the Towers. I think they should just create something. Like, remember,
have some fun with it.
When the Raptors name came out, that caught everybody off guard. When they were naming the Raptors, they went, whoa! And now, look, it's a cool name.
Well, they had like two dinosaur names as the finalists. So Toronto T-Rex was like another finalist.
That was horrible. That was just horrible. That was stupid. But when the Raptors came out, I thought it was kind of cool. And I'd like to bring back the Dino uniforms, but let's not digress.
They'll always bring it back as like a throwback every couple of years. They make too much money on that.
Of course they do. But one of the things that you were saying about the name thing, you and I had a disagreement about. You looked at the uniforms and said, oh, God, how are they ever plain? Are they ever ridiculous? Won't they do something with them? Well, on this side, this is why we have the house that happens. What I loved about the uniforms, it reminded me like of 1940.
Okay, but this is 2024.
So what? What about the traditions of the game? You know what I mean? Let's just go.
I don't know.
That's one of the things that comes with.
It's just so boring. Just like the name on a diagonal. And then, like,
thought it was great.
Everyone's got like the black. It's a little too like.
And if they didn't have their names on the back, I would have thought it was even cooler.
You're one of those guys.
Because some of the uniforms I see nowadays, I just go, really? Where did you get that out of a Cracker Jack box? So I think this is my thinking, and maybe it is because it is a new professional women's league. They're trying to make it look like they're going to establish it like old school hockey. That's how you start. As old school.
I agree with that. I mean, I think there's a reason that they are starting with 6 teams. I think that's very symbolic.
There you go.
Right?
That's what there's a few things like that. But if they had to come out in like the Oregon Ducks, pastel pinks flying around the ice, I would have lost my shit. You know what I mean? I'm glad they kept it on this level. Although I do believe with the popularity of the league, and if they maintain it, some crazy ass shit's gonna go on with them uniforms. I predict
it always does.
It's coming.
It always does.
It's just a matter of time. Like when we have the Fred Flintstone night or the Jump in the River night.
I don't think it's gonna get that crazy because I think because that's like a minor league thing. That's always just because they don't sell tickets. And meanwhile, PWHL, it's looking like it is selling tickets.
That's for now. That's talking 2 years.
It's good hockey. I think people will want to support this.
I do too. I think what we're going to do is...
The game won in Ottawa, 8,318 people in attendance.
Amazing. I hope the room wasn't papered. You and I are going to go down to a game.
If we can get tickets.
If we can get tickets.
Toronto's already sold out.
For the year.
But
I heard there's a walk-up, isn't there? Every game?
I have not heard that.
Somebody was saying, I don't know where it is, if you walk, but it's like you got to come down 3 hours before the game. They release like 100 tickets or something.
Good luck.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just glad the support is that high and the quality of hockey is there to support the fan base.
Yes. And we will take this into, because we've already been talking about for half an hour, the NHL. All-Star, the first 32 players going into the All-Star game got announced. No surprise that the Leafs representative is Austin Matthews. No surprise that the Habs representative is Nick Suzuki. Why are we still doing
second line center?
What?
Second line. Hey, listen.
Well, I was just gonna say, why are we still doing one representative from each team?
Stupidest
like,
thing ever.
House league? Like, we gotta make it fair for the kids.
No. That's just bullshit. Look, as we keep tabs on the Habs, I don't think anybody on the Montreal Canadiens should be playing on the All-Star team this year. And I'm a diehard. I'm a disciple. I love these guys. The only thing I love more is my dog and my wife. Okay? So
maybe the Detroit Lions.
Oh, they're
Michigan
right up
Wolverines.
there. Oh, yeah. Okay. I got some friends. But you know what I'm getting at, right? You're like, who on Anaheim should be on the All-Star team?
Nobody.
Who on the San Jose
Ugh.
should be on? Oh, Columbus. See any All-Stars on Columbus lately? No. But I think it's all marketing.
I'm trying to even think who they sent to the All-Star game. Was it? No, it's not the kid.
I know. It's a defenseman. It's a defenseman, I believe. We'd have to check the roster if you pull it up. My point is this. First of all, I'm not going to be happy with the game because they're playing 3-on-3. Okay?
Okay.
I don't know where to go with this.
But the 5-on-5 All-Star games were brutal.
Okay, so what are we going to do? Now, you made a suggestion, and we've heard it a number of times, and they maybe experiment with it. If you're going to go 3-on-3, you can't go back past center ice.
Yeah, why not use that? Oh, and it's Boone Jenner, forward, representing Columbus, by the way.
Oh, is a forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 2 defensemen got named. It was Quinn Hughes and Rasmus Dahlin were the only ones.
Dahlin, I think, deserves to be on.
Oh, I agree. He's been one of the better defensemen in the league. He just plays for a team that's not too good.
Oh, by the way, the guy that I wasn't paying attention to, you with the Minnesota defenseman, what's his name? Heiskanen.
Oh, Dallas.
Heiskanen. Dallas guy. You're right. That guy's a freaking...
He's very good.
Full-on top 6 maybe defenseman in the league, but we'll get to that in a minute. The All-Star game is great. It's in Toronto, which is a great place to do it because we're such a hockey city.
First time since 2000.
Is that long?
Yep.
Wow.
My dad was at that game. He hated it.
Everyone did. It was so brutal. It was just brutal. But it's good for the fan interaction. We got a good thing going here in the city to support something like that. But when it gets to the actual product on the ice, I heard they're changing the skills competition. They supposedly have some surprises for us.
Yeah, I've heard like what the players they kind of want to go back to basics, which okay,
I
fine.
agree.
Yeah, but that's not always the most exciting thing. We've tried back to basics before, and it's I know NHL. They can never help themselves when it comes to doing All-Star. They have, besides the Pro Bowl, I would say it's the worst presentation.
And you know what it is? It's a marketing delight that fails. That's how I look at it.
It's for the sponsors. They want to say it's for the fans, but it's for the corporate sponsors.
Oh, 100%. Like, who are they trying to fool? You know what I mean?
It pisses me off when Friedman gets us like, oh, the All-Star game's for the fans. Like, no, it's not.
Stop it, buddy. Get
Maybe for like kids. If you're like, if you're 12 and under, you enjoy the All-Star game.
100%. So let's get away from the All-Star game and let's just take a look back.
Well, hold on. We didn't talk about the opportunity that this presents since they are going 3-on-3. The not being able to go past half.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's huge. I think they should just adjust that all the time. Okay,
But why not use this as like the experiment
the
ground?
template,
Yeah,
the template to see if we're going to do it. I agree. 100 house it happens. We're going to shout out and we're going to tell everybody because you know what I've overdosed on hockey this year and I'm not bitching. I'm just saying I've overdosed on hockey. But when they get to these overtimes, I take my dog for a walk. Come on, you know what I mean? I have dreams. Like my favorite line is, "There's Elvis Stoico. Look at him doing 2.5 with a Lutz," or whatever you call that nonsense. Too much going back.
Yeah. One thing I do like, though, is they are bringing back the fantasy draft aspect. So now it's 4 teams, so it's probably going to be like a snake draft format, I imagine.
Yep. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, that opens up a big TV opportunity. Like, everyone remembers Phil Kessel being drafted
Classic.
last.
Yeah.
There's the one Ovechkin when he wanted to get drafted last.
Yeah.
So he get the car that he was going to give to a family. That was a lot of fun.
Kessel handled it with such aplomb, eh?
Yeah.
He was just so cool about it. You know what I mean? And because Kessel's still in the league, too, isn't he?
He is unsigned, but he is still active.
Yeah, there's somebody pick him up. But in any event, if you want to watch the All-Star game,
it's still about a month away, February 3rd.
Yeah, I think I'll be doing my hair that night, but I'm not sure.
The fan vote runs in to determine the final 12. You know me, I've stuffed that ballot full of Leaf players. I want to see Riley there. I want to see Marner there. I want to see Nylander there. I want to see Tavares there. I haven't put in a vote for Joseph Wall because why not?
Why not? Okay, I'll go put some votes in too and stuff it in another
You're allowed
direction.
10 ballots a day.
Okay, I'm going to get on that. In any event, we should be discussing the current state of the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to get there in a second. I'm just going to say that I thought this week was a very good week for hockey. In this thing, when I alluded to when we started the show about the stuff that overlaps hockey and has nothing to do with hockey, but because it's an entertainment thing, blah, 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 blah. I think that I want to give a big shout out to some of the American outlets that have really, really screamed hockey. Now, it's a double-edged sword. First of all, what? You guys never seen hockey before?
I mean, yeah. Well,
you never seen hockey before?
That's what pisses me off about ESPN. Like,
yes, they act like it's a brand new sport. Like we just
just because it hasn't been on your network in 20 years?
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. Like that part of it just makes me go, really? However, their promotion of it is actually very good. Big shout out to Mr. McAfee coming in with his cut-off Pittsburgh jersey on. He had the biggest rat snake piece of shit player I've ever seen, Marchand, on for an interview. And they had a big hype on the Boston-Pittsburgh game. And look how that game turned out. Mm-hmm. Barn burner in Boston. What a great hockey game. But I'm thinking it was maybe it was good hockey karma that a show of this caliber pumping hockey this hard, and then you have a game that great. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I thought it was great for the sport.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then to follow it up the same night, which wasn't really mentioned, but it should have been mentioned, was the Dallas-Colorado game. This game was a barn burner. I'm going to allude to my good friend here, Mr. Milani, who absolutely says McKinnon is maybe second or third best player in the league.
Second best.
He was a horse the other night. One of those guys he took said, we're winning. Yep. We're winning this game. And he beasted it, and they won in overtime. But
McKinnon's now tied with Kucherov for most points.
As I was saying, and you're still saying Kucherov's not a top 5 player?
He's not.
Oh, get out of here.
All of his points are coming from the power play.
Well,
it's a 5-on-5 game.
Sometimes you got to go look at your guys on your team here. Come on. All your guys are getting all 5-on-5 goals?
A lot more than the Tampa Bay Lightning are.
Let's look at the Austin Matthews situation.
Okay.
Okay, he's not. He's about 50-50.
Okay.
So Kucherov.
Matthews plays defense.
Kucherov does too sometimes.
And he's a bitch, though.
Okay. Okay, he's a
minus points for being a bitch in my book.
Okay, there you go. So we've already got a reason why he's never going to talk.
Oh, come on. But like top 5 players in the league: McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon, Cale Makar, Jack Hughes. I'd take Jack Hughes over Kucherov.
I don't know. This season, I don't know. Jack Hughes got banged up last night. So before we get to the
I'd still take Crosby over Kucherov too, by the way.
Crosby's having a great season. Yeah. Let's not deny. Let's not forget Sidney Crosby, who's just moved into 12th place all time on the scoring list.
Yep.
The guy is still, let's not forget about
7th place in goals this year.
Exactly. Let's not forget the greatness of Sidney Crosby. Mm-hmm. All the years that he had taken bullshit, that he's a whiner, the concussion problems, blah, blah, blah. This guy's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it. But before we get to the Leafs, because we've got a few things to say, I just want to allude to another thing that we've talked about previously in here that you and I have had arguments about, and that's about the whole, let's get tough, should we be fighting, all that nonsense, which is another thing the Americans are promoting too much, in my opinion. However, we had a situation last night.
It's always been a tool to sell the game in the States ever since like the 30s and 40s.
Oh, well, it was on full display. It was on full display on a couple shows this week where the biggest highlights was, and I'm just going, please, let's get back to the quality of the goals that were scored. That's what it. So anyways, I do think we got to protect the stars in our league. But you're not special. You're a special talent. But you're not special when you're on the ice. Anything that happens to you can happen to any player in the league. Did you see this insanity that happened last night in the New Jersey-Chicago game?
Well, I saw the Bedard hit.
That was clean.
Yep.
That was clean. I hope he's not hurt. He did not return.
No.
Okay, so what escalated after this? We had Foligno acting like he was straight out of the freaking Neanderthal age, for starters.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
that's why he's there, though.
Okay, because I do. When you got to protect your player, protect your player. Okay, I agree with that. However, let's look at it this way: when they started taking shots at Jack Hughes, that's when I drew the line. Like, you know what I mean? They took some dirty shots, and Hughes ended up leaving the game. So you got two of our young stars. One left the game on a clean hit, and we're not sure really why Hughes didn't finish the game, and that kind of bothered me because I watched the whole game. I seen the shots that they took at him, and some big boys just came over and gave him a shove. A couple guys tried to give him face washes, and I'm glad that the Jersey guys all fought back.
Yeah.
Because that's at a point where I'm not letting you do that. Your guy got hit on a clean check, so you're going to hit my best guy because you're pissed off?
Yeah. And I mean, Chicago's a bad team too. They got nothing to play for, right?
Agreed, but at the same time, it's like
I'm not saying that to defend them. I'm just saying that is the way it is.
3,050 100-point penalty minutes in the second period, pulling into the third. It was like right out of 1978.
Yeah,
it was just bad, and that's what I'm saying. If you're trying to promote the sport on the highest competitive level, and you see it fall down, succumb to this stupidity of stuff like that. I'm all about protecting your players, and we're going to talk about this in a second. But that thing that went on in New Jersey and Chicago last night, I don't know who should be. I think that Chicago should be embarrassed about what they did. But guess what? Chicago fans were loving it. The place was going. So I'm going, regardless of my belief, there's an underbelly in this game that I've never subscribed to, even when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, even when I was a kid, like I like a great spontaneous fighting. Great, I get it. But all the stage stuff, I remember the bench. You can't imagine. Ask your dad. The bench clearing brawls and stuff.
Well, my mom is the hockey fan.
Some of that stuff back in the day.
She hates it too. I have an uncle that stopped watching hockey because of that shit.
It was so bad. It was like Letterkenny level insanity. Okay, like and you just see it, guys, going over the board. And you know what it reminds me of, which I forgot all about this, which gave me new respect for the late great Boreas Salming. When he had to fight Dave Schultz, that game, I remember watching that game. And I, of course, you know, I'm a Hab guy. I couldn't care about the Leafs. All they got a couple Swedes, no big deal. But I remember thinking about that too. I do remember that a couple big guys went after Schultz afterwards. But here's a guy that's coming over from Sweden, which was the beginning of opening international hockey, so we have more players playing in the league. Mm-hmm. And the biggest goon in the league starts beating on a guy who's never probably, but I'm not going to tell you about the reputation of Boreas Salming. That's another story. But the bottom line is that let's see how tough you are, guy.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And that's what I seen last night when I was watching the Jersey-Chicago game. Some of those Chicago guys were acting like that. How tough are you? It's not about how tough you are. Let it go in the flow of the game.
It is kind of about that, though, because isn't hockey, like, as much as we might not want to admit it, the intimidation factor is huge.
Always, but, I mean, if you do it in a way that, okay, if you hit a guy and he backs down, then hit back. Okay, so let's just discuss some of the ridiculousness we've seen in the league this year. Did your buddy, man, deserve to be suspended?
Let's save that for the Leafs segment,
okay,
but no. Or,
okay.
He didn't get suspended. He got kicked out of the game.
Okay, so... continue on. We're going on hockey because I want to.
Because I want to. This kind of goes into the Cole Perfetti, Ryan Hartman thing that went down this week.
Okay. So what's your opinion on that?
Oh, Ryan Hartman's a bitch.
I'm not saying he's not, but Buddy shouldn't open his mouth.
I don't think that's a big deal at all. He just said he was going to hit me in the face, and he did. I don't see the big deal with that. It's not like he said one of those things where the guy says I'm going to eat your babies or something like that. He didn't repeat that to the media.
I'm going to say this.
It's just a simple matter of fact thing. I don't have a problem with him. He was asked about it, he said it. That's fine.
If we found out all the things they said on mic'd up players in the history of sports, our grandmothers would lose their hair.
I get that, but there's a fine divide between saying something like I'm going to hit you in the face and the baby eating shit.
Okay, I agree. However, what goes on the ice stays on the ice. I'm a firm believer in that. I think he brought a bit of a code. He broke a bit of a code. Now, is Ryan Hartman, someone should have punched him out immediately. That was dirty. You say you're going to do it and you do it.
Right off the face-off.
Right. Now, but you know what I would have done? I would have swung back. I would have given him a two-hander, but that guy backed down, and that's your fact about the intimidation.
Well, that's also a problem with the refs always see the retaliatory one, right? So who would have gotten the penalty? It would have been Perfetti.
I would have taken a penalty. I would have swung back.
Yeah, but then you put your team you jeopardize your team's position.
Okay, so then it's going to be for later in the game. You're going to realize I ain't taking your shit.
If you might not get that opportunity,
I didn't play a lot of ice hockey in my day, but I played a lot of ball hockey, and I played in some big tournaments. And I went to the box a couple times because I went at big guys that were picking on little guys on my team. And then you can see my size. I'm 5'11", 175. I'm no big guy. But when guys took a run at my guys, I went at those guys. Okay, did I take some shots? Sean Burke, another story. I got scars on my arms, and I got knocked on my ass, okay? And I went to the box. But the reason was I wasn't going to be intimidated. Like you were saying, the intimidation factor of the game. I think, what's his name, Perfetti, whatever?
Perfetti.
I would have taken the 5-minute major. I would have taken a swing and freaking cracked the guy. I would not take that. But then again, isn't he European?
He's Canadian.
Then he should have freaking hit
He's
him.
also a little guy, too. That's the problem.
Yes, he was a smaller guy.
And Hartman's not a little guy himself.
No, I agree. I think Hartman's a complete bitch. I'm on you like that.
And he's got a reputation. Everyone knows that.
Exactly. The whole thing went on. I'm going with that, but I'm still saying, regardless of the situation, I would have said keep it all on the ice. You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in that. Figure it out on the ice. You know what I mean? Don't go to the press.
Well, he was asked about it. He said the truth. I don't have an issue with that.
I think he should have kept his mouth shut, personally. But that's personal opinion, is it not? Is that where we're going? So what's next with hockey? Because I got some shit to say about intimidation.
You want to just get right into the Leafs week?
Okay, we're going to get there in a second. So can I preface it this way? The other night in the game, man got a boarding call and a game misconduct. McMahon, yeah. Got a what was it?
5-minute major.
5-minute major and a game misconduct for boarding. That Russian guy should learn how to skate. Did you see the hit?
Yeah, he put himself in that position. He turned into it.
He turned into it and hit it. And when you coach hockey, what is the forward supposed to do? He's supposed to close. What's that?
Not do that.
No, but he was closing him off.
Oh, you're saying from McMahon's position.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way. If he didn't do that, he wouldn't get back on the ice. That's his job. Okay, so what ends up happening is learn how to skate, Rushke. You were off balance. You fell down. The only thing I seen worse is when Ryan Reeves ran into the board because the boards injured him. That's another story. But the Russian guy, look at everything I thought was learn how to skate, buddy. And I'm no Leaf supporter here. I'm not jumping up and down. But the fact that McMahon had to fight that brute right after, they sent the brute out after him. And the problem was it wasn't a time for the Leafs to retaliate because there was no score during the game.
Yeah.
So if they had to retaliate, it would have been the position that you said, and then Anaheim would have got the power play. So they were defenseless in a situation where McMahon really didn't do anything wrong.
No, although that fight ended up benefiting the Leafs because the guy got the instigator penalty for it.
Which it did, which took 2 minutes off the penalty, which is okay.
Yeah.
Because, but what was Anaheim thinking?
They weren't.
Okay, come on.
They're in the same position as Chicago with it. They're not a good team.
I thought that was completely insane. Now, before we continue on with the Leafs, here's what was juxtaposed upon that. I don't know if you've seen the Cousins hit on what's his name against the boards. Mm-hmm. The guy was down, and Cousins has got a reputation.
Yep.
Okay, so he comes across. The guy was on his knees, and Cousins says, "Well, since you're on your knees, I'm going to drive you into the boards." No call. No call. So what happens is Zucker says, I better take this into
Yeah.
my own hands. And Zucker gets a 3-game suspension. What's up with that, NHL?
That's crazy.
Mr. Batman, can you come down to the house that happens and explain this bullshit to me? Like, why didn't Cousins get a penalty just to start? You kick McMahon.
How about George Peros explain?
George Peros is probably cerebrally challenged. Okay? Come on. I'm watching both games. How can you explain to me, a lifelong 50-plus year hockey-watching fans that had to live through that insanity that we talked about in the 70s, and here we are in 2024, and I see this nonsense? How do you justify that to me? You can't. When I see both results, I'm going, no. There's something wrong here.
Right.
What happens if this isn't a playoff game, third period?
Oh, boy.
Aren't we going to have an issues?
They're going to put the whistles away.
Oh. Here at the house that happens, if we hear somebody say, put the whistles away, do we get to kick them in the...
In the pills?
Yes. Do we get to do something that insane? Because if I hear that one more time, I'm going to lose anytime. Oh, the refs put the flags in their pockets. All of that. I am so...
Or pick up the flag.
No, we'll get that later. Or let them... Oh, they're letting them play. What's worse? They put the whistle away or they're letting them
Those
play?
are synonymous. So
It's the same song, right? Just different chorus, different verse. Come on. I'm tired of that because I'm going to get back to this. I wonder how many times billions of dollars are affected on those kind of situations now. I mean, it's been there forever, but now that gambling is legal, like I hear people questioning it all the time now about what's going on there. But the bottom line is I'd like to have more consistency when I'm watching the refereeing in the NHL because, like I said, this was a great week for the game. There was some very, very high-end games. And let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs this week.
Yeah, so, I mean, the big news really was from last weekend when Sheldon Keefe really showed the team who's boss by scratching a fourth-line player.
Wah, 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 wah. Whose attention was he getting?
I mean, I guess
Samsonov's?
I guess he got the fans' attention by putting a spotlight on how bad of a coach he is.
Ooh, zing. I thought maybe he was getting Samsonov's attention. Where Samsonov's is where now? In Hamilton? Marlies?
Marlies. Kind of like they're not going to play him with the Marlies from what I understand.
He hasn't played yet?
They're not going to play him there.
So what's he going to do? Go to a
I think they're trying to just figure him out. Trying to get his head back in check.
Is this like a Manoah situation in hockey?
I mean, I guess kind of, but
Samsonov
was
sucked.
a fitness issue.
Samsonov sucked.
I thought you said you weren't going to say that on the show anymore.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, his performance sucked. Sorry, Samsonov. His performance sucked. The
results sucked.
The results sucked. Okay. The bottom line is Martin Jones is now the most valuable player in the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I mean, you can make an argument that backup goalies have been like the MVP of the league this year.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like the quarterbacking situation in the NFL, but we'll get to that later. Bottom line is this. I feel good for Martin Jones. You know what? Here's the deal.
Played great.
He's played outstanding. Now, here's what happens in hockey, which is why we love the game. That Anaheim game, I thought they should bring in the guy Hildeby.
Yeah. A lot of people thought they would.
Okay,
including myself.
Oh, me too. And in any event, they're just saying this guy. They're not sure if this guy's ready for prime time.
He's still young. He's 22, I believe.
Yeah, and has no experience beyond the Marlies or any kind of level like that. Okay, I get it. The bottom line is like the Leafs still need the points. So like, why squander the opportunity to take 2 points and put in the kid and he blows it? Okay. What really impressed me, and I know that you say Keefe is a shitty coach. The way the Leafs have played the last 2 games, even though they're against inferior opponents, it's the way they played both ends of the rink that really impressed me. I seen Matthews knock 2 guys down. I seen Marner defend Matthews behind the net. I actually seen Marner knock a defenseman out of the way so they could block a shot, which is, I can't believe I'm ever saying Marner and Tough in the same sentence.
And by the way, Matthews, his splits for goals this year, 8 on the power play, 22 even strength.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt then, okay? Whatever. Kucherov, I'm having a beer with you, but that's another story.
I'll leave you guys alone then.
Bottom line is that's a coaching thing. Got to give Keefe credit. They changed the way they were going. They're back to that circle back with the defenseman. I think Ty Domi.
But how long is this going to stay for?
You got to stay that way. Look when Dallas.
I agree. You got to stay that way. But how long are they going to stay this way?
Every time
I think they're going to regress back to the mean because they're going to tune out the coach. I'm telling you.
Every time I see the Dallas Stars play hockey, they look the same every game. When I see the Winnipeg Jets play hockey.
How long have they had their coach for?
I don't know. Not as long.
Second year.
Okay.
Same with Winnipeg. How long have they had their coach? Second year.
We'll get. He's old school though, isn't he?
Bonus?
Yeah, he's
sure.
an old school coach. We'll get back to that in a second. In any event, I'm thinking that the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You're proving my point. I love this.
Stop it. The bottom line is, I think that they like. I know you don't like Keefe, but I mean, if they listen to the coach and play this way, it'll take them a lot further. This is playoff.
Big F.
Okay, so look.
What's Keefe's reputation in the playoffs? He gets outcoached every single time.
I'll give you that. Then I'll give you that. Maybe this year is going to be different.
No, that's insanity.
Okay, great. I'm not cheering for the Leafs, so they're gone in the first round. I ain't losing no sleep. But anyways,
Connor Bedard out 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh no,
broken or fractured jaw.
Oh, boo.
Sad year for rookies like that. Him and Joseph Wall, arguably the best two rookies this year.
So he did
a significant time.
So what are they going to say? Going to end up saying it's a dirty hit? I don't think it was a dirty hit.
I mean, just because a guy got injured, I don't think it means the play was dirty.
No, I think the problem was the guy was much taller than Bedard. I mean, if Bedard was 3 inches taller.
We figured this could be a problem for Bedard. He's not a big guy by any means. 5'10", I believe.
But they got to learn when they're cutting into the center. Remember when Caulfield got wiped out in Calgary last year? It was the same move as Bedard last night. They cut back to the middle. This ain't junior hockey, kids.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? And you cut back to the middle, there might be a wall sitting there waiting for you. And I did not think that the check on Bedard last night was... I'm very disappointed to hear that he's out.
Yeah.
That's just a complete drag. It sets everything back. Good luck to Connor Bedard. Hope you're back. See you sooner than later. But let's get back to the issue at hand.
Yeah.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are going to have to play this way for the rest of the year if they want. They got to keep banking points because I've seen last night
have success in the playoffs. Because if they don't make the third round this year, people are going to be rioting on the streets.
And if they make the third round, everyone's going to be calling for the parade. But that's not my point. My point is this: like I said, I seen the Dallas Stars play. Minnesota's coming back. When I see these teams,
They lost 4 in a row now.
Oh, that's right. They did. They were on a good run there. Is it 4 in a row now?
4.
But they lost a couple in overtime.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of key players injured. That's probably playing a part of it. But they have too far back to climb back from, you know?
Well, in any event, what I'm saying is when I see certain teams, Minnesota, Dallas, not Colorado, because I see them play some nights and I go, what team is this? And the next
Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I mean a team like them, Vancouver, seems to play the same way every night. Philadelphia seems to play the same way every night. I think you have to have it going into the game, and we're building a little bit of culture like this in Montreal, just so we haven't got all the talent yet. And this is what the Leafs have got to learn. You got to play the same way every night.
Sure.
You have to, you know what I mean?
And by the way, shout out to Winnipeg, #1 team in the NHL as of today.
Big shout out to the Winnipeg Jets, who at the beginning of the season, when we were doing preseason prognostications, we were saying how far would they coyote off the cliff?
Yeah.
When you think about it, remember we said Winnipeg, in between the fan base, blah, 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 all this other stuff, and here they are. Best team, best record in the NHL. Yeah. Huge shout out to the Winnipeg Jets.
They're still having trouble with attendance.
Really? 9,000 a night, I heard, right?
Yeah, and it's a small barn, too, so they got to be selling out, basically, to make it work there.
And there's not enough corporate money in Winnipeg anyway, so you add it all up. But I still say congratulations.
Yeah, lowest home attendance of all 32 teams this year.
Boo.
You know who else is in that bottom 5?
Who's that?
Montreal.
Are we really?
Yep.
People aren't showing up for us?
Except for Saturday nights. Like, there is some magic in that building Saturday nights. I don't know what it is. I don't know how many horseshoes you stuck up J.K. Allen's ass on the Saturday night, but you guys seem to find a way to make those tight games work on Saturdays.
We are the third highest team that played 1-goal games this year. I think we played 21 or 22 1-goal games. Now, think about Montreal and the attendances. I'll defend them this much. We're what, 25th in the league in attendance?
28th.
28th, and we're still getting what, 18.5 a night? That's not bad.
But like your barn, doesn't it seat like 20,000 plus?
It's 25. I think 20.5.
That's a significant percentage of the arena that's empty though?
2,000 seats.
If it's 25, then that's
What's their average attendance? You got on the thing there?
I just had it. I closed it.
I think it's 18, isn't it? Their average attendance.
Yeah, but like for somewhere that's like over 20,000, that's not great.
Everybody else in the league would like to have 18 showing up a night. I'll tell you that much.
What do you mean? If they're bottom 5, they wouldn't want that.
Well, a lot of the other Columbus's arena is not that big. The places in Florida aren't that big. Arizona is not that big. You know what
Columbus
I'm saying?
is outselling Montreal according to this.
Wow, really? But what's their attendance? What's their maximum attendance?
This one just shows the bottom 5. Oh my god, now it's being slow. Okay. Washington second last this season, which is a shocker to me because they were selling out every night.
When they were winning. It's called the fickle fan bases when you're not winning everybody. Montreal's notorious.
So,
you know that's the biggest difference between Montreal and Toronto?
What?
Toronto fans show up no matter what. Montreal starts losing, the fan base sits at home and says, get better.
Yeah.
That's been a tradition since my whole lifetime. It's not that the fans don't want to show up. They're telling management, we're not going to show up if you're not winning. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which is a strong yellow to the fan base from the fan base. But in Toronto, it's never like that.
Well, because there's too much corporate money.
Maybe. There's a lot of corporate money in Montreal, too. A little bit more.
Yeah, but in Toronto, the whole lower bowl, they're selling out no matter what.
Agreed.
And like even the upper bowl, it's been people waiting for season tickets for like how many years?
Since I've been
Decades.
born. Since I've been born.
Exactly.
But here it is. Montreal is considered one of the 5 best stops in the NHL for players. When they want to go to a place, we're going to Montreal this weekend. Yeah, let's stay an extra night. You know, that kind of stuff's going on. But let's not regress. Let's continue about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to get to is the Nylander contract rumors are kind of hitting peak. You heard that they got offered the Pasternak deal?
When I heard what was going on.
8 by 11.25, in case you don't know.
Oh, I know the numbers, but
well, maybe our listeners don't.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you could see the look on Andrew Mullaney's face right now when he has to say that number, look up cringe in the dictionary. His face looks like cringe.
No, not at all.
Wait a second. You're Mr. Cap friendly?
Yeah. How much is the cap going up by next year?
4.5. That's the rumor.
And how much would this be an increase on Nylander's salary?
About 4.5.
A little bit under, actually.
So what are you going to do for a 6th defenseman? You're going to buy me?
Well, basically, there's a lot of money coming off the books, too. So there's going to be a lot of contracts. Like, okay, Riley's, like, he's set.
Okay, we got Marner in a year.
We got McCabe another year at 2. Connor Timmins another year 1.1. He might be out the door, but regardless. And then TJ Brody's $5 million is off the book, so that's a lot of cap space.
So you're not bringing Brody back?
I doubt it.
Okay, so who are you going to have on defense next year? Chili Willie, Yosemite Sam, and a couple.
We'll bring back Benoit. He's an RFA.
Oh, well, okay, that's right.
Liljegren's going to be back. He's an RFA.
Okay. Those are 2 guys, and you got Riley. But what I'm saying is you got to have depth to win in this league.
We'll sign somebody.
At what? You're going to get a less than average player because you're going to play him less than average. Unless the guy emerges as
Brody's $5 million is coming off the book. That's a lot of cap space to deal with. And Samsonov, he's not going to keep come back. That's going to be like, another 3.5?
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Wall's salary is set at under $1 million next year, so you're playing with house money there.
Okay, agreed. But so what are you going to do? Your biggest problem is what is the number one thing that Toronto Maple Leafs are looking for right now?
Defense.
Okay, so you're going to let these guys go at the door because of no money? You're going to be in the same situation as last year, and you say you keep doing the same thing.
I'm saying we're going to upgrade.
Upgrade to what? With what money?
I just said I just gave you all the.
You are talking about the.
Hold on, no. You're not looking at the facts.
I'm looking at the facts.
No, you're not, because I'm saying there's like over 8, more actually coming off the books. You're saying what are you going to do with that? You could do a ton with that.
Okay, first of all, you're going to give Nylander half.
No, but that's already set with how much the cap's going up. And then Brody $5 million.
You're not bringing. Okay, so you're going to get a defenseman better than Brody on the fucking cuff?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to win the lottery tonight. Come on.
I'm saying maybe through free agency, but you might have to go the trade route.
Still going to cost you money.
That's fine. We got money. It's okay.
Yeah, Mr. Cap Friendly, stop it.
I'm on Cap Friendly right now.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. I like that site. I hear
Max Domi is $3 million is going to be off the books.
Okay, so who's your 3rd line center next year?
Fraser Minton.
Oh. You're killing me.
He's not going to be on an entry level. They tried him out this year. Looked pretty good those first few games. You agreed with that.
I did too, but he looked a little lost in the tournament. I thought because trying to always get the number.
That's apples and oranges.
Yeah, but okay, so
that's
we're going to
not
see
the
there.
NHL.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is this. The example being the Las Vegas Knights. They roll guys like no tomorrow, but they don't have 4 guys. Here's the problem. I did not know this until this week. Next year there'll be 11 guys.
Okay.
In the NHL. Making over $10 million. Okay?
Okay.
How many on the Toronto Maple Leafs?
There's going to be 4.
Don't you think that's a little bit screwing up your competitive balance, bro? You missed your salary cap. You know what, fans? What's this date today? January 6th. We're going to mark this down. This time next year when we're talking, I want to know who's playing defense for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That guy that plays for Letterkenny? You going to be on the team?
You wish.
Or whatever.
You
know what I'm saying? You got to look at it. I'm gonna say this. I don't want to
look at what?
Look at it this way. You got to have depth to win in this league.
And they're going to have the cap space to do that.
Okay, let's be realistic. Okay, so
we're being realistic.
Okay, let's get the numbers. We're going to go with the numbers. Okay. Nylander gets the bump on the salary cap jump because he's getting 8. He's getting 8 now or 7?
A hair under 7.
Okay, so now you jump him up $5 million. Jumping him up.
Nope.
Why not?
That's not what.
If he's making 6 now,
he's making 7.
Okay, 7. So he's going to jump 4.5.
Under 4.5. So you still have a little bit extra to play with the cap jump.
You're splitting hairs now, motherfucker.
No, we're not. Every cent matters in the cap. You know this.
So why didn't they sign him? Okay,
why?
Agreed. I'm not going to design. Why didn't they sign him this summer?
I don't know.
They could have signed him for 8 years.
He didn't want that.
What's that?
He didn't want that.
No, because the Leafs are freaking playing around with it. He said, let's wait.
How do you know? Where are you getting this from?
All your buddies.
Who?
What's the guy's name? Dreger?
You never trusted Dreger. I don't want to hear his name.
Okay, but anyways, Dreger said it.
Dreger? No, we don't do his name.
Brent said it.
When did he say this?
This week on TV.
Wait.
He said, was it Brent?
That they're playing around?
No, what they said is they put a offer on the table, okay, which was about 8 or 9 million.
And Nylander turned it down.
What's that?
And Nylander turned it down.
No, I think it was, they offered him just, what was he getting now? 7?
Yeah.
So they only wanted to bump him about 2 million.
Yeah, and Nylander said no.
Because what his agent...
Nylander wants like 10 mil plus.
Okay, but at that time he didn't. He might have signed for 9.5.
No, that's not true at all.
How do you know?
Chris Johnston, Elliot Friedman were saying otherwise. They're the 2 best hockey reporters.
Okay, here's what Brent's theory was this. He said
I don't care about his theory. I want facts.
Okay, well, nobody's got facts. They're all insiders.
Okay, then what are we talking about
Okay,
then?
so I believe this. I think Nylander's got an amazing agent. Because what he did is he sniffed around the league and said, hey, if you got a chance to sign Nylander, what would you sign him for? And they all said, we'll steal him from the Leafs for $10 million. Bingo, game's over. Now Nylander starts the season, has the best season of his career, jumps to 11. So what my point is maybe they should have paid him the 9.5.
That was never an option, though.
What was your belief that the offer was this summer? First of all, I heard it was only.
I heard it was 9, but then I heard Nylander wasn't interested at all. That's the facts.
I heard that. Can we prove this? No. So we're all
you can't prove what you're saying either. So
I believe that his agent, who are scumbags of the earth, went around and sniffed around, and that's why they didn't sign him. I think it was more the agent and Nylander because it's well-known fact Nylander does not want to go anywhere.
Okay.
That's a gimme.
We know that.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that it was an agent thing. Like, they went and sniffed around and just said, hey, Vegas, what would you do to get Nylander? Because they don't have a player of that magnitude, so they said, well,
maybe that's Jack Eichel.
Well, no. Who would you rather have, Eichel or Nylander?
Eichel, every day.
Really?
Eichel's the center. He's got the size. He's a better goal scorer.
He's not having as good a season as Nylander, I don't think.
It's not just about the points.
Well, Nylander, both ends of the ice, is much better. I got to give him credit. But then
Eichel
again,
was a Conn Smythe candidate in the playoffs last year.
Well, because
Nylander
never got that far, so we don't know if he'll ever get that far. So we'll never know if he'll get any.
Nylander's never been up for a major award, so.
But you know what I'm getting at? I really think it's the agent thing, and I've never thought about that until it was what is his name, Brunt or whatever, brought it up. I said that's an interesting thing to do. You got a good agent. Toronto put
these guys do.
But I mean, they put the offer on the table. Let's go sniff around, see what everyone else is saying.
Allegedly.
Yeah, and allegedly he was only getting 9. So we're both in the same boat. Let's see what he signs for. When he signs for 11.5, I'm going to call you personally and say, who's playing defense for you next year?
I'm telling you, we got plenty of cap space. You're not listening to the.
Okay, I want to know how much cap. So the average good defenseman in the NHL right now is $4 million a year.
Okay.
If you're fourth best defenseman.
And we have way more coming off than that. I don't know what we're arguing about.
Okay, so then Brody's gone.
Yeah. Unless he comes back for cheap. Maybe he signs a sweetheart deal like Giordano.
And what was the guy that
maybe not like Giordano, but maybe he signs for like 2 or something.
Hyman was going to stay, wasn't he? But he didn't give a sweetheart deal. No. We can keep naming guys the last few years that are left.
I'm fine with not bringing Hyman back.
But he's a quality player.
It's not about being a quality player. It's about fitting guys under the salary cap. And you can't. Did
you just say the salary cap?
No. Hold on. And let me finish. Okay. Let me finish. And what are your most important positions? Down the middle, defense, goaltending.
Got you. No problem.
And you're already spending a lot of money for your 2 best wingers. Other guys got to go at a certain point. Okay, so the thing is this. Your biggest thing right now the Toronto Maple Leafs need is what? Besides a goalie, but everyone does. Yeah. You want defensemen, okay? Well, like everyone else.
Like everyone else, okay. So now what you're going to do is, let's give a realistic number here. You're saying they're going to have $9 million in cap space, right?
More.
Okay, what do you got? Let's
because there's gonna be Domi. They got to take into account he's gonna come off the books. I don't imagine he's coming back.
Okay, so Domi goes and you put in Minton.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the benefit of a doubt on that. Okay, so now who do they have in defense playing right now?
Riley, Brody, McCabe, Liljegren, Giordano, Benoit. Okay, Lagoson's your number 7.
Okay, and I think he could get better. Giordano can't play forever. Benoit has been a revelation. Last time I checked, Brody plays with Riley. Yeah. I don't know. I watched a few Leafs games. I see Brody with Riley. So Brody leaves town. Who plays with Riley then?
We'll figure it out.
With what money? You got $12 million. I'm going to give you.
What do you mean? What money? You're saying
I'm going to give you $12
million. Your argument's not consistent because you're going like, how are we going to do with $12 million? But meanwhile, you just said your good defenseman makes like what $4 million.
$4 million.
You could pay $3.
Oh, we'll see. But you know what?
I don't. Okay, your math's not mathing.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to put it this way. At the end of the season when it comes and you got $12 million and you got 3 defensemen, you're going to have to go out there and pay for them. You know what the problem is? What? The market's going to go up because the cap's going to go up. So all those guys that you're fighting for, there's going to be, all the other guys are going. So that $4 million a year is not going to be a $4 million defenseman anymore. He's going to be a $5 million. How do you like that, Mass? How do you like those apples?
It's okay because we already have. Hold on, because we're going to have what? 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 defensemen already set for next season. So we
half
just need
these
2
guys you didn't even want on the team before. So now you're going to
who?
Liljegren.
I have never said one bad word about Liljegren on the show. Check the tapes. Sandine I would shit on all the time.
Oh yeah, that's the guy. I knew there was a guy.
He's out of town. I'm good.
Okay, but in any event, I think you guys. But you know what? It's a league-wide problem. I agree. It's a league-wide problem.
I don't think the Leafs are in a bad spot at all, though, with their cap.
I don't know.
I think they planned, and like I gotta give Dubas a shout out here. The way he planned out the cap, or I mean, it's him and whoever the
Shannon.
Well, his first hire basically, Purdom.
Yeah, Purdom.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm getting at this. We'll see. You know what it's going to be? The proof's in the pudding. How far are you guys going in the playoffs? That's what's going to determine how you're going to.
That's a next year problem, though. The way you're going.
Well, you're still going to need an defenseman. If you guys get knocked out in the first round,
we shouldn't concern us. You're talking about next year's playoffs with this cap issue, though. That's
your issue. Is this year? If you guys don't
I
win,
know why you're the one jumping back and forth.
Okay, so we'll forget about next year. So you guys only win 1 playoff round again this year. Say you only win 1.
Okay.
Your success is conference finals or nothing. Because one of the things...
Well, I want to see the team in the Stanley Cup or nothing.
Oh, then that's what the fans say. It doesn't seem like management's saying that. It sounds like they got a bunch of guys.
They know. I think they know.
Oh, I think they should too, but it's never brought up, is it? Got to make the boys happy. No, how do you make the boys happy? You win them happy by winning the Stanley Cup. So I never hear that.
It shouldn't. Well, I mean, it's obvious though. I think like other teams don't bring this up.
Vegas, because we're winning the Stanley. We want a Stanley Cup.
Vegas is one of a kind.
Okay, Tampa says we want to win a Stanley Cup. The New York Rangers are saying we want to win a Stanley Cup. These guys put it out there. Toronto wants to win a Stanley Cup just as much as those guys, but they don't say it like that. They say we got our big 4. So I want to hear the organization saying it ain't about the big 4, it's about the ring. That's what I want to hear.
Well, wasn't that a big deal when they hired Treliving this summer? That was a big issue they said they want to fix.
Exactly. So, and I haven't seen it fixed yet. All we're talking about is contracts and freaking cap friendly and money. I want to talk about that. Look,
well, like you said, though, it's going to come down to playoffs.
Exactly. Montreal's talking about Stanley Cup. What are we doing talking about Stanley Cup? But we're talking Stanley. Here are our guys. We're going Stanley Cup.
Well, everyone says end the rebuild. That's like, oh, that's what we're going to aim for.
No, they said we're done. We don't want to be going forever. We want to be Stanley. What's the guy?
That's what I'm saying. Every team in a rebuild is talking about that.
But when you go to the press and you say it that loud, I've never heard. Shanahan wants to win a Stanley Cup more than anybody. Come on, the boys from Mimico grew up in Toronto. He wants to win a Stanley Cup more than anybody. But I don't hear them expressing it as loud as I hear
Shanahan
other
doesn't speak to the media very often.
Because he's smart. He's smart.
Okay, then you're speaking on both sides of your mouth. And you're
No, the other guys.
You are. No. Because you're saying on one hand he's not speaking about the Stanley Cup. Then the other side you're saying he's smart for not speaking. Which one is it?
Okay, I think that what he does is he knows that the overreaction of the press in Toronto is insane.
Obviously,
so he has to be. So he's handcuffed by the fact that the Vegas press isn't this crazy or the Ranger press.
Okay, so you answered your own question then.
Bottom line is if you're a Toronto fan, I want to know that my organization is saying my number one objective is to win a Stanley Cup, not number one, I want to make Nylander happy.
They never said that. When they ever say that's their number one priority?
Seems to be all I hear about. How to keep the boys happy.
That's not from Shanahan's mouth, though. That's from the press.
Oh, that's why maybe the problem is. I don't know. Okay, we're going to end the conversation like this. We're going to talk about this the rest of the season because it's the proof of the pudding is going to be the Stanley Cup playoffs. Yeah. Correct?
Yeah.
So when you guys lose in the second round, I'll be laughing
wish.
I'm not saying nothing. You haven't done.
No, you are saying something again. You're stand behind your words.
I'm going to stay behind my words. I hope you guys are going to the conference finals. Did I not say that at the beginning of the year?
I don't know. You said that last year. I haven't heard that from you this year.
I'm saying, for the city of Toronto, your grandmother, every Portuguese grandmother, every Italian grandmother, every Greek grandmother, I want the Toronto Maple Leafs to go to the conference finals if they can. It's on record of me saying that. If they don't, my heart will bleed purple piss, okay? So that's what I'm saying. My bottom line is I want the city, I want the organization to scream as loud as a fan base. Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, but you just said they can't have it that way.
Well, they should. Let's change the narrative. I know
you're not going to change the press here in the city.
No, but I do. I mean, I'm talking a little bit out of both sides of my face with the Shanahan thing. I do agree because he stays away because he knows how vicious this press is. But I'm still saying sometimes I want to hear a little more of this because I hear it every day in the streets, man. Like
but you know what's going to happen, though? People are just going to say, show it in the playoffs. That's going to be the number one answer from the fans.
Okay, there's no doubt about it. Now, I just want to cut to the chase really quick on this, though. Someone said the other day that, and we're going to get this towards the end of the show because we're getting a little tongue over. That was a good conversation, by the way, buddy. Bottom line is, people are saying how big of a sports city is Toronto. World class, in my opinion, as big in North America as it is. However, let's cut to the chase here. I had to argue with somebody the other day when they talked about when the Raptors won the championship, it turned Toronto into a basketball city. Thank you. Thank you. Huge fan base, great support. Let's see if the Toronto Maple Leafs were to win the Stanley Cup, that parade the Raptors had will look like Sesame Street.
I agree.
Thank you very much. I just want to be out there because Mike, if you're listening, and a few other people, no, I watch basketball just as much. Okay, no doubt about it. This is a hockey town. I don't care. We're a sports town.
Yeah.
We're a big sports town. Let's not Blue Jays included.
Yep.
We're a big sports town. But the crowd, the top of the mountain sits who?
It's the Leafs.
Thank you very much. And if there's anybody in this city that thinks otherwise, must be suffering from dementia, doing bad drugs, or has just got amnesia, because that's just the way it is in this city. You know what I'm saying? Hence the reason that the screaming so loud from the fan base should be Stanley Cup or bust.
It is.
You know?
It is.
You know what I mean? Anything else you want to talk about hockey?
Yeah, so I want to talk about some of the anthems we heard in California.
I loved the Anaheim anthem. I loved it. I loved the guitar anthem.
Goofy.
I thought it was amazing. I'm going to just tell all you people out there, better than the chick that sang the night before.
Oh, she was awful. We can agree on she was awful.
You know,
I hate it when these anthem singers, they think they're Whitney Houston, but they can't sing like Whitney.
No. Stop it. Go in the way. You know what? I wish that we all like Adam Wainwright. when he sang the national anthem with the guitar guy, and it was understated. It was really cool.
That Anaheim one wasn't understated, though.
That was off the charts.
That was bad.
Why? I'm a guitar guy.
I like guitar, too. I'm a rock guy. You know that.
Okay.
But it just went on too long, and it's just like, oh my God, like this goofy guy with the scarf coming on to play the guitar. Nylander couldn't keep it together. Neither could I watching it on TV, to be honest.
He's a good guitar player.
He's a fine guitar player, but it's just like, okay,
I didn't mind.
I don't care for the 5-minute Star Spangled Banner. Let's get to the game here.
Okay,
they keep finding ways to extend the national anthem.
Okay, I don't know if they should extend it this way, but I will agree. Sometimes you got to remember this. The anthem done properly at the beginning of the game can incite the crowd in a way that'll give them more reason to push for their team.
100%.
Okay, agreed? So that's why I think you should continue with the anthem. However, it doesn't always work out that way.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, that's just the issue. I had no problem with the guitar guy because, you know, I'm going to tell you the truth. Honestly, while that guy was playing, I told you, when I watch sports, I have a guitar in my hand. So when that guy actually was busting into it, I actually had a guitar in my hand when the solo started. So I said, oh, let's turn this up. Like, I'm sitting here with my guitar because I'm constantly doing that. Like when I watch sports, I'm noodling on my guitar. What else am I going to do with my hands, okay? So I just like to noodle on my guitar and play stuff because I think one day I might be good, but that's just another story. I'll just be... is my Zach, I'll entertain, okay, if you're listening, son. But in any event, I had the guitar in my hand, and this guy come out, and I seen the guitar, which was a nice guitar, by the way.
Sure.
And I went, wow, this should be interesting. You know what it was? It was just too bombastic for people to grasp it. And if you're not a music person, throw the guy out. That was because at the end, I thought, this is kind of cool. Then when I seen Nylander, and a couple guys in the bench, I said, ooh, this is not going as well as I think. To me, I'm having a good time with this. And I'm sort of looking around and going, they're not interpreting this the way I am.
No.
Okay.
That's like my favorite one was, I think it was like a New York Buffalo game. This is like 5 years ago now. They had like some kid doing the Star Spangled Banner, the American guitar. And then the play-by-play was just like, that was an interesting rendition of Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, the greatest one of all time will be Carl Lewis. At the basketball game in New York. That was the greatest one of all time in in stupidity.
Yeah.
Let me give more time.
Oh my God.
I'm getting there.
Speaking of top 5 athletes I can't stand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't like Carl Lewis?
No, I think he's obnoxious.
Greatest one of the great. I would rate him.
I like in terms of like his track running ability, fine, but I just think he's obnoxious. He needs to learn to shut up.
He can't.
That's the problem.
He can't. I think he's one of the 5 greatest athletes of all time. But I'm not a big fan of Carl Lewis, the Carl Lewis.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you're saying, like at moments, and learn how to dress better.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all I'm saying.
A couple more quick hits. Ottawa hires Dave Poulin. I think that was a great pickup. Probably, it's sad because TSN's losing one of their best analysts, I think.
I just seen him on TV. They brought him on Overdrive.
Yeah, it was a good interview.
Did you see that? I thought it was an excellent interview in this way. He goes, I've been talking about this for all these years now. Now I can't say any of this when I'm out here talking about it. I thought that, what a professional answer, which was true. Because, O-Dog was it O-Dog grilling him? One of the guys was just grilling him about stuff. And what did he say? I'm not an analyst anymore.
Yeah.
I got a job to do. And I want to jump in the TV and say that's one of the most honest things I've seen in sports all year. Like, what are you going to do? You're Dave Poulin. How many times do I listen to you?
These are also his buddies too, right?
Exactly. They're out for beers in the whole 9 yards. But that was good television to me. I got more respect for Poulin. Not that I didn't have any respect. He's one of the few guys on TV I prefer to listen to as an analyst. I really like the guy. But to hear him in that perspective, what a great interview, though, eh?
For sure.
Unbelievable. That's why I watch TV. And you know what I do? And Overdrive, which is the all-Canadian show, polite, bland.
All-Toronto show, but...
polite, bland, and a little bit cranky.
Yeah.
Too much hockey. Like I said,
they're all hockey guys. They all played Major Junior, right? So
don't talk about basketball when you don't know what you're talking about. Be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Like I hear them say some basketball shit, and I go, "Oh, come on, guys! I know more than that." But then again, I'm more versed in all the sports because I work for the House It Happens.
Sure.
Okay, we'll get there. Anything else hockey you want to bring up?
I just want to shout out. We talked a little bit about Nathan MacKinnon, best Colorado Avalanche in history, I'm willing to say. And this is from someone that's like...
the Joe Sakic guy.
I'm Joe Sakic fan number 1.
Wow. I'm just going to tell you this. I've always liked MacKinnon. You don't get to see as many Colorado games as you usually do, but as I've been off work and I've got the box, I go looking for the best game of the night. So when I checked the game that night, I seen Colorado, Dallas. That was on my mark. I'm going to watch this game. I'm lucky, fortunate enough to be in that position without having to play it for center ice. Okay, which is just a scam. And all our sports things are going up in the new year, eh? They're adding money all into it again. Those sons of bitches. So Nathan McKinnon, and one thing you keep forgetting about, what a beast he is.
Oh, animal. He's got that dog in him.
Oh, huge. But not only that, I want to know who's the better skater, him or Austin Matthews. Because Austin Matthews is the same power skater as McKinnon. He just doesn't show McKinnon's edge. Is that a good way to put about it?
Yeah.
Even though I've seen Matthews hit a few guys lately, which is the way you're brought up in hockey. Come on. Matthews is from freaking Arizona. Freaking
McKinnon's from down east.
And okay, enough said. Okay, you know what I mean?
We'll take this into our Saturday night pick'em.
Let's get it on.
So there are 12 games on the docket here today.
Last week was not one of my better weeks.
No, it was not. I was 7 for 9. You were 4 for 9.
I was awful. Glad I didn't gamble on it. I was awful. I was looking at the scores, and I tried to be a little bit of a smart ass, like I know it all bullshit. Nah, you sucked.
First up, we got Calgary at Philly in a matinee. Jacob Markstrom starting for Calgary. Carter Hart starting for the Flyers. I'm actually going to call the upset. Calgary's been a smidge hot lately. Give me the Flames on the road.
I'm going to say no, because what happened the other night with the Flames Philadelphia getting bitch slapped by who was it the other night? On the road. They got slapped by somebody. I think they're going to come home and...
Philly got smacked, you're saying?
Yeah, they lost 5-2 to who?
I can't remember. I had it up.
Yeah.
But they haven't been looking that good lately.
And your boys let in some bad goals.
Carter Hart?
Yeah. I still think he's he's pretty good. I'm taking the Flyers.
Florida at Colorado. No confirmed starters yet, but it's expected to be Bobrovsky versus Georgiev in net. Florida is probably coming high from beating the team that beat them in the finals last year in Vegas. I think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit. I'm taking Colorado at home. Not
a chance. This Florida team is on a mission. I seen that game too. I seen the Vegas, I should have brought that up, the Vegas-Florida game. What an excellent game. And when it got to the the third period, Florida just pushed them around. They're a tough team.
Yep.
Do you think pause here, do you think they should call it the Frank Selke Trophy? Continue to call it the Selke Trophy, or the best two-way player? I want to call it the best defensive player, but I don't think that Barkov is.
All the NHL awards are named after people, though.
Okay, so then how do you define it? It's supposed to be the
best defensive forward. That's in the definition.
Okay, so you think Barkov's the best defensive forward in the league? No, but he scores.
It's really the best two-way forward. It's like the Norris. It's the best defenseman, but really it's the best offensive defenseman.
So then I think that they should clarify that, because I don't think Barkov is the best.
I agree.
Okay, anyway, we'll get that there. I'm taking Florida.
Tampa Bay at Boston. No confirmed starters yet, but expected to be Vasilevsky versus Ullmark. I'm taking the Bruins at home.
I hate to say it, but I'm taking the Bruins all day, because they're pissed at losing the big national TV game, getting beat by Pittsburgh, and Marchand being on the McAfee show and all the hype, and they lost. They did make a nice comeback, though, because they were down 5-2.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Okay, but I'm taking the Bruins.
Minnesota at Columbus. Marc-Andre Fleury confirmed for Minnesota. Daniel Tarasov confirmed for Columbus. Minnesota not looking so good lately without Kaprizov, without Gustafsson and net. I'm taking Columbus at home.
Really?
Yep.
I'm taking Minnie to keep their chances alive. I miss Kaprizov. He's one of my favorite players. And you know who is really looking good too? We'll get to it when we get that game.
New York Rangers at the Montreal Canadiens. Jonathan Quick confirmed in net for the Rangers. Samuel Montembeault confirmed in net for Montreal.
That's a win for me. I'm taking, as soon as Montembeault's playing, we got a better chance to win. I'm taking the Habs.
Like I said before, Montreal's got horseshoes up their ass at the Bell Center on Saturday night, so I'm going with the Habs.
Thank you. Yeah. Jake Allen looked horrible against Buffalo, eh? Did you see?
And you still think you can get a first-round pick for him?
Second round.
I heard one of the GM said it's extortion what Montreal's asking, so I don't think you're getting that first-round pick.
I've heard worse than extortion. I just, well, when you got it, why not? The reason he's not moved already is...
I think the theory I heard is that they have the price they're putting out there and then the real price, so we'll see.
Closer to the trade deadline,
Yeah.
he's going to be gone. But no, I've heard that too. And even though we keep tabs on the Habs, I've heard that we're just being ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Vancouver Canucks at the New Jersey Devils. Thatcher Demko expected. Well, no starts confirmed yet, but Thatcher Demko versus Nico Dawes is expected to be the matchup. I'm taking Vancouver on the road. Vancouver
Wow.
Devils, this is their number 3 starter they're putting in net.
Wow.
Not boding well.
Okay, I'm still going to take the Devils. There's something about that team that I think I like, even though Vancouver's a top team. Can I mention something about when you play center ice? You know what happened on my TV the other night?
What's that?
I don't have the package. That's why I got a box. So, anyways, one time I hit my PVR to record the Devils game, and I think that I hit the button that said, "Get every Devils game."
Oh shit.
Okay, which worked out well the other night because all of a sudden I looked up and I've seen my PVR was recording the Devils game. So I go, I didn't see that. You go through the thing, Sportsnet and everything. Somehow it recorded the game on center ice.
That's not bad.
How does that? I'm worried. I'm checking my bill.
Oh, fair enough.
Because you know what I mean? Like that was a center ice. Like I checked, I go, how did I get the Devils game? And it recorded the Devils game from the package.
Yeah, check that.
I'm checking that. Was that like some kind of artificial intelligence that screwed me over? I'm checking my bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Continue.
Buffalo at Pittsburgh. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen confirmed starter for Buffalo. Tristan Jarry confirmed for Pittsburgh. Penguins have been a modicum of hot lately. Give me the Penguins at home.
Taking the Penguins too.
Next up, the one we've all been waiting for, Toronto Maple Leafs at the San Jose Sharks. Martin Jones confirmed to be the starter against the team that he took to the finals way back in the day. Mackenzie Blackwood, unconfirmed, but expected to start for San Jose. I'm taking the Leafs.
You have to take the Leafs because this is the end of their 3-game trip.
Yep.
And the thing was they wanted to get at least 4 or 5 points out of it. They got the 4. Let's finish the deal.
Yeah, I mean, going through and winning, sweeping the California road trip isn't quite what it used to be. But
if it's there, you take it.
Exactly.
So I think that they should. I'm with Toronto. I'm on board on Toronto tonight.
St. Louis Blues at the Carolina Hurricanes. Binnington expected to start for St. Louis. Antti Ranta confirmed in net for Carolina. I'm taking the Hurricanes at home.
They may be the hottest team in the NHL right now.
Yes, sir, they are.
You know what I mean? So I'm against a team like St. Louis, who is in big trouble everywhere.
Yep.
Got to take Carolina.
Nashville Predators at the Dallas Stars. Kevin Lankinen, likely starter. He was the last goalie off the ice today. Scott Wedgwood confirmed in net for Dallas. I'm taking the Stars at home.
All day long, and I like Wedgwood as a goalie. I think he's pretty solid.
Yeah, and the battle of the backups should be an interesting one tonight. Yeah. New York Islanders at the Vegas Golden Knights. Ilya Sorokin, the likely starter for the Islanders. Logan Thompson expected to be in net for the Knights. Give me Vegas.
I'm taking the upset here with the Islanders.
Okay, I think Vegas, they've been cold. I think they're going to find a way out of it. Yeah. And last but not least, Ottawa Senators at the Edmonton Oilers. No confirmed starters yet, but Anton Forsberg versus Stuart Skinner is expected to be the matchup. I'm taking the Oilers at home.
I'll give you 3 goals in Ottawa if you want.
So you're going with the Oilers too.
I'll give you 3 goals on that one. Ottawa is a just complete
dumpster fire.
Worst, if you know what I'm saying.
So we are mostly on
the same
track here, although with a few differences, but should be interesting. 12 games. Good luck, Cruz.
Good luck, Mr. Milani, okay? Which moves us on to our basketball talk.
It does.
Okay, we're not going to spend a lot of time because the show is extended well, and I've really liked our conversations today. However, I just want to say one thing. Congratulations, the story broke as we were here last week.
Yes, it did.
I still say that the Drago did not have to take the team out for dinner because they couldn't win for 3 in a row. You've heard that, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't go for dinner. Now, I'm going to say one thing. I watch a lot of basketball. We've seen some marquee stuff going on that makes all games great, and I'll get to that in a second. But here's the issue with the Toronto Raptors right now. Make a decision on Pascal Siakam right now or play him for the rest of the season and give him his contract. Number 2 is this Quickley guy is a great basketball player. He went to Kentucky. Mm-hmm. He wasn't getting his chance in New York because of Brunson, and now he's here and he's overplaying. How did we leave him with the shot to win the game last night?
I didn't understand that either.
Okay, you know what I mean? Okay, Siakam wasn't going there. Scotty Barnes isn't our best 3-point player. We could have had Schroeder out there. Could have had Gary Trent out there. And Gary Trent's looking like the last guy in the lineup now. In any event,
for sure. I think he's probably going to be gone by the deadline.
I really believe that Quickley. I've liked the guy in New York. I've liked them all the thing. And RJ Barrett's going to be better too. They're overplaying now. They're excited. They're looking, getting all this chance to play. And then what do they end up doing? They end up making some turnovers and stuff because the game before Quickley was what? 5 for 9 from 3?
Yeah, it was hot.
Then he goes out last night and he thinks it's the same game before. It doesn't work. Ask Marcus Smart. Guy's been shooting under 30% for three-pointers, and last night he drained 8.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the game. So I'm really looking forward to the Toronto Raptors because they look better as a team. They got rid of Precious, and Boucher had his best game last night.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So maybe they fit him into the rotation.
I mean, that trade, that's one of the big things we didn't even get into last week, how it just like helped our rotations. I mean, obviously the Precious one was obvious, but it really helped our guard play, which was a big ask. I mean, we still need another big.
Oh, yeah. But maybe this is the opportunity because Boucher and Precious were fighting for the same time.
The same space, yeah.
So now maybe if Boucher gets more time and he's a better three-point shooter, he can make the three, made a big 3 last night.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, I think that the Toronto Raptors have a serious shot at making at least a play-in now. And not only that, they played at the Arco Center last night, which is one of the toughest venues to play in the NBA. Now that Sacramento's winning, you hear it around the league, that is like...
The Golden One Center or whatever they call it now.
Yeah, we used to be the Arco Center, but... As I'm old again. But what I'm saying is that it's still the old arena where the fans are right down on the crowd. Yeah. And Sacramento's always been a serious basketball town. It's just that when they sucked, nobody showed up.
And they sucked for a long time.
Yes, they did. But right now, they got a good team.
I want to ask you, so last night there was a report that got out that Sacramento was going, or they were like a serious front runner to acquire Pascal Siakam. All of a sudden, a couple hours after, literally like maybe a little bit before the game starts, another notification pops up on my phone. Sacramento out on Siakam.
Well, they probably talked for 10 minutes and said, this guy's got bitch potential.
I think he told him to fuck off.
Who's that, Sacramento?
No, Siakam. I think he thinks he's probably too big time for them. He's like, I want to go play for the Lakers.
Oh, that's it. The Lakers. What are the Lakers going to give us?
Oh, maybe he waits for free agency, but... Maybe, I don't know. I don't think Siakam's concerned with what they have. I think he's like, I want to play here.
Listen, I used to like Siakam, and I'm saying
too.
this. He's playing some decent basketball right now, and even though we've been dragging his dick in the dirt a bit lately, if he stays in context of the rotation right now, he's a valuable piece that could get us some credibility, especially we going into the playoffs with his experience. Okay? He does ISO a little bit too more. Now, what I've noticed in the last 2 games is our number one guy is Scotty Barnes. Scotty, stay aggressive. I know he looks like he's trying to let the other guys in on the game, but I think you keep being Scotty Barnes. Let those guys work around you, not he work around them, because RJ Barrett looks like a young pony out there. He's just running around with sheer excitement, which is great, which I've said before. Give him 10 games to settle in. You know what I mean? Because he's pretty solid, and he's playing in the rotation in a defensive way that Darko's working him, and that could be very good for the Raptors.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't want to spend too much time on basketball. It's only about 20 games in, but part of the reason that we watch these sports is like we're always saying it's the highest competitive balance. 2 things went on the last few days in basketball that just blew my mind. One of them was the Giannis against Wembanyama game the other night. This is theater at its finest. Here's Giannis, who I consider maybe the best player in the NBA. If he's not, he's definitely top 5. And he's playing on back-to-back. Giannis is playing on a back-to-back, and they lost to Indiana the night before. Wembanyama said, this is Giannis. I'm going to show him that I want to be in this league. And these 2 boys went at it. Did you see the block that Wembanyama had? Okay, and then not only that, and how many times that freaking Giannis shook Wembanyama in his shoes with the moves?
Yeah.
What it made for was a very highly competitive game against a team that has NBA champions aspirations against a team that
still rebuilding,
have sucking performances, so to speak. So not only did we have that great battle against the Giants in San Antonio, Greg Popovich has become absolutely insufferable as a coach.
Why is that?
Not as coach, as a press guy. I know he's got that. The other night, did you see his press conference? He walked in the room and he goes, I guess you guys asked all the questions. He didn't even sit down. You just seen the camera on his chair. And he said, this is what I got to say. You guys know it already. You guys have a good evening, and walked away. It was just Popovich at his best, worst, whatever you want to call it. But sometimes I just think that coaches should be bitch slapped too. That's all I'm getting at. But there's one more other thing I want to talk about is that if you don't like basketball, you got to like Nikola Jokic, the Jokic, whatever. Did you see his buzzer beater 3?
Yes.
Did you see I don't think he jumped that much when they won the championship. But it just
maybe when he got like his first horse or something. He
I love that. I love that. You know, when Jamal Murray talks about him, he goes, "What are you looking at? A good horse?" Like it's just if you don't like the Joker, you don't like sports. This guy is in a weird way, he's the anti-personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm getting at? I love the guy. I love him in interviews after the game when him and Shaq were talking. And Kenny Anderson answered him in Serbia. Greeted him in Serbia, and then Shaq tried to do the same and just
Kenny
got
Smith, you mean?
I mean Kenny Smith.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kenny. He another time don't know the guy's name.
Turned down a job with the Raptors a couple summers ago.
Who's that?
Kenny Smith.
Yeah, because he's making too much money, I think, in his position.
Although he hinted that he will go to work for an NBA front office.
No,
soon.
not
You don't
now.
think so?
No. That's too much money. He's making too much money on that show. And that's you can't beat that. That's one of the best panels.
I agree.
In all of sports, they're not there, but. When Djokovic beat him down, and guess who did they beat? The Golden State Warriors, who were winning by how much with 6 minutes left? 18 points down in Golden State, and guess what happens? They got their ass kicked in the end, 24-3 run to end the game. Goodbye, Golden State. Same thing last night. What I'm not liking about the NBA is they market stars, which you should.
Yep.
Let's market the stars. Got to see the stars.
NHL has problems with that.
Okay, so they could do a better job. But the NBA, I think it's getting to a point where overkill because the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors are in serious position of not even making the play-in. Both teams.
Well, it'd probably be one or the other. But
Warriors.
the Lakers, the rumor is that Darvin Ham, coach of the Lakers, he's on super thin ice right now.
Who are they going to bring in? Oh, Kenny Smith.
Maybe.
No, just joking. No, I don't know what it is because...
Well, he fucked up the locker room, it sounds like.
Yeah, they've had some issues. And him and the way that LeBron talked to him a couple times on the side, which was brought up by Doc Rivers, who's coach for years, all he said was body language and look at the faces. And he said, that's not a good sign.
Well, it all started with, it said, D'Angelo Russell's in his doghouse, and I think that's causing a big rift.
They want him back on the floor. He's not getting time to play. Yep. But D'Angelo's a funny guy, but I think he should be on the floor. If not on the floor, I don't know.
Give him an opportunity to play out of it.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen the starting lineup since, mid-December?
And he didn't even play last night.
Yeah.
So what you
He's
have...
listed as inactive.
Okay, so then they came down the floor last night. And I'm going to say this. It's too bad the Memphis Grizzlies are wasting a season from my boy John Morant. Because he's turning out to be not only one of the most aggressive players in the league, he's very unselfish at times.
If they can get wins, they might have a chance at the play-in.
What are they now, though? Still 7 games under 500?
Worse.
Yeah, okay. 10?
12.
That's a long road back.
Yeah, but the teams you're chasing are under 500, too.
Well, I hope they do, just so we can see them in the playoffs, because that's a great team with Desmond Bane, Jared Jackson Jr., the African guy who's all crazy. And Marcus Smart, who is the Brad Marchand of the NBA.
Yeah, without not as much of a bitch though.
No, he's not as much of a bitch, but he's just that guy. You want him on your team, but
I
agree. He does some of the sneakiest, dirtiest shit I see in the NBA. Greatest, because there's a flop rule now.
Yeah,
you can't tell if Marcus Smart is flopping or not. He's got Academy Award. He did a couple times. He ran into LeBron. And looked like someone shot him in the head. And LeBron's looking at him like, if I could bitch slap you right now, I would. It was just, and not only that, he got hot. So he drained, I think he had a big night last night, 28 points or something. He was draining threes from the parking lot, which is, my bitch about that.
Sure.
If you're making him, shoot him. If you're not, go inside. In any event, it should be noted on both leagues, the NBA and the NHL had great showings on national TV this week, which makes it better for the sport because we're going to switch to the monolith and the greatest league in the world and what they did to the NBA on Christmas Day.
Oh, we talked about that.
We did how bad. Well, they were talking about this week. The numbers came out. Oh my God.
And who's shocked? Nobody.
No, well, that's what they're saying. I like just tell you the dominance of football, eh? Like the dominance is unbelievable. Like Christmas Day belongs to the NBA for as long. I mean, they should be happy that the scheduling for football only happens on that about every 6 or 7 years. Right. So it'll be saved next year. But
well, yeah, next year, sure, but in a couple of years, it might not.
It'll be back again to them getting a bitch slapped.
If it falls on like a Thursday, a Saturday, a Sunday, or a Monday.
Wah, 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 wah. But here's even the interesting thing that the other thing that must have hurt the NBA, because they're saying their ratings are a little bit down. The Winter Classic got better ratings than some of the games in the NBA.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard. Like,
wow.
Like they brought it up because McAfee was so hilarious. He had Jay Will on, and he just kicked the NBA. And oh, by the way, did you see the ratings for the Winter Classic? And I just went, whoa.
By the way, we didn't get to that, but like those Vegas jerseys, awful.
Awful? They're worse than awful.
One thing, like, so if you are interested in, we're getting back to hockey for like this, but this is a quick thing I want to get to. If you're interested at all in like hockey jerseys and all that, there's a great YouTube channel, Aesthetics. I think you'd really enjoy them.
Aesthetics, it's called?
Yeah. He did a video recently where he did, he basically took all the Winter Classics and put them in a tier list based on like how nice the jersey, combined jerseys. So it's like the two jerseys were kind of put in there together. So he ranked them based on historical significance, uniqueness, and just like how the colors and it all kind of went well together. Excellent video. Excellent video.
I'm going to check it out.
But the one thing he picks on, which I completely agree with, is when they kind of go with the off-white to make it look vintage. I hate that. I hate that.
Mind that.
What? It looks dull. If it's regular white, it looks a lot more sharp. It pops more. It's you have a nice looking uniform. Like, and he bashed the St. Louis the 2 times they were in the Winter Classic for this because they went for that. Looks terrible.
I do remember one of the St. Louis ones looked kind of drab. I will.
It's because they use that vintage white.
Whatever the case may be, I'm hating.
What happened to regular white? Come on.
I hate all the shiny helmets too, but let's continue on with. I hate the shiny helmets. Even when the Leafs wear those bright blue ones, I don't like the shiny helmets.
What do you mean? The Leafs don't have shiny helmets.
When they wear those black uniforms the other night, those helmets.
They wear black helmets.
Yeah, they look pretty shiny to me.
No, those are just regular helmets.
Why do I gotta wear my sunglasses when I'm watching the TV?
That's just Vegas and LA that do the chrome ones.
Just so bad.
The LA ones I don't mind because half the time I forget I'm wearing them. The Vegas ones look like shit. But
yeah. Okay. So, anyways, back to the most important thing that's going to be going on this week, and it's like week 18 of the NFL season.
Final week of the regular season,
which is kind of bittersweet. Because we're going to have some great playoffs, I believe. However, we're also going to have some organized insanity with who's sitting and who's not. So all the gamblers are losing their shit, including me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think the best storyline of the week, though, and it's absolutely fabulous that the Monolith have got this because it's taken them the 3rd year to do it. But you got a situation where the Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs, number 2 seed to out. Think about that. You could be the number 1 seed. Now, they're going to know this by the time they play Sunday night because it's up to the Jags and the Jag game and the Steelers game, what goes on there. So it's not going to matter. But I think they want to win anyway because wouldn't you want to be the number 2 seed?
Of course you do.
2 home games
in Buffalo, yeah.
2 home games in Buffalo, hoping for the worst weather. If you win
the first one.
Yeah, and then you get them there. But anyways, we got a lot of interesting going back and forth in the NFL. One of the things before we talk about what was going on, I want to know your opinion about, we all know that the Chicago Bears have got the number 1 draft pick overall next year.
Yes.
There's possibly
the
Carolina pick, which is why that owner should be kicked to the curb because he's the biggest dumbass going. But in his $350,000 fine. So
could have had C.J. Stroud too.
What's that?
They could have had C.J. Stroud.
Now it's come out. Frank Wright and the crew wanted C.J. Stroud, but he insisted on taking Bryce
Young. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're the owner,
and you just gotta feel bad for Bryce Young because he's the one that's getting
poor kid
to the stick there.
You can ruin quarterbacks like that. You know what I mean? If you look down the long line, just in the last 10 years, we're not going to go there because there's too many that got kicked to the curb, which makes me give a lot of credit to Baker Mayfield for hanging in there because he did have a modicum of talent, but he should never have been the first pick overall. But that's another story.
No.
Bottom line is, if you're Chicago, what do you
Actually,
do?
Mel Kiper was right there. He said Cleveland should have taken Josh Allen.
Oh, everybody did, but
Yeah.
nobody listened. They would have had Josh Allen. Think about that. In any event, the great conundrum about the NFL is, what do you do with your quarterback if you can have him on a rookie contract and make him run via Russell Wilson back in the day, Brock Purdy presently? So what does Chicago do? Do they draft a quarterback, or do they keep Justin Fields, trade the pick, and get 2 more? One of the rumors is Atlanta's ready to give him 2 or 3 first-round picks.
For Justin Fields?
For the
first overall pick.
Now, Chicago's got a solid defense, but they got guys that got to sign there. Like, they lost the guy. He ended up going to Baltimore, and he's a great linebacker. They got the kid that's playing corner, which I should have wrote his name down. He's an all-pro now, but they got to play him next year. So what do? Do you take the 3 draft choices and further increase your stature as a defensive team and more starters, which I'm not happy with as a Lion guy because Chicago's in our division? Or do you go for the Khalib or the Knicks or the Penix Jr. and say, well, we've got a good enough defense and things now that we can use this guy in the next 2 years to get us to the next level, and we don't have to pay him because we can use the money elsewhere, which is the Andrew Milani way of saying that's how you get places.
I mean, either way you cut it, I mean, this is a golden opportunity for Chicago. If you're a fan of that team, this is you got to be chomping at the bit. This is so exciting because, like, either way, they can come out of this looking like real winners this offseason if they play their cards right.
But the bottom line is drafting properly. The draft is a crapshoot at the best of times.
Well, and plus we have a owner in Chicago that might be a little bit of a problem, should we say?
You think?
Nepotism seems to be an issue in that organization.
What, you think? You think? Okay. Okay, but that's been going on for how many years?
Well, that's part of my point here is that, like, do they make the right decision? That's going to be the big question.
I really hope they. I don't really care because they're in my division. So if they fall back, I don't really care. But I think it's an interesting thing to come up, and then we'll follow it in the future according to what they're going to do, because what's going to happen is going to depend on whether or not Justin Fields rushed for 1,200 yards this year.
I suspect he's going to be on his way out, though.
People are like, did you hear Serge? Oakland's looking at him.
No, I've heard New England's looking at him. I've heard tons of teams are looking at him. But, I mean, I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire, I like to say.
I don't think he'll go to New England because that'll be too much confusion. But I want to shout out here.
Too much confusion?
Because I think who's going to coach? You're going to bring in a new quarterback, new coach, and all that. I think that
kind of goes hand in glove, don't you think?
They say that, but I'm going to look at it this way. I've been a Tom Brady guy my whole life, Michigan and all that stuff. So when New England was winning, I was happy for Brady all the time. But some of the disrespect I've heard for Bill Belichick in the last couple of weeks is just absolutely blown my mind. Like, they're going to run him out of town? Mm-hmm. How can you do that? Now,
I heard he could be going to the NFC South. That's the rumor.
But the Harbaugh is the coach of the University of Michigan is the elephant in the room. What he does at the after Monday, we're going to find out.
Chargers.
We don't know that. I'm just saying.
I heard they're ready to open up their checkbooks, give them the blank check.
I agree that rumor is like rampant, but
you get a chance to work with one of the best up-and-coming quarterbacks in the game.
That's what you want, and you use them properly. But I don't want to say what big talking head this week said it because they get too much good, bad, and ugly press as it is. But they made a point of saying this, and I'm going, and you're a New England fan. Do you believe this? The New England fan base is never going to forgive Belichick because we now know that Belichick pushed Brady out of town. That's a fact. That's now 100% fact. Went to Kraft, said we
kind of figured that was the case though.
But now it was this. I mean, that's not a bad thing for Kraft to be thinking because look at Green Bay pushed Aaron Rodgers out of town. Perhaps it's the right move now because Jordan Love is developing into a franchise quarterback. Okay, so I don't know. It's good, bad, or ugly.
Well, that was the problem though. Patriots didn't have the heir apparent on their roster.
Oh, Belichick said they did. His name was Jimmy Garoppolo. How'd that work?
He was already out of town by then, though.
But who'd they have coming after? No, but that was decision by then. No. They kept Garoppolo? No.
No, by the time Brady was out of town, Garoppolo was already long gone.
Oh, yeah, they had to because they couldn't pay them both, right? So who was the quarterback left over? Mac Jones.
Well, he came after Brady.
So the first year that Brady won in Tampa Bay, who was the quarterback for New England that year?
Cam Newton, we signed him. But
right. Cam
our
did work
backup
there.
with Brady was Brian Hoyer, I believe.
And who's still in the league, and Cam Newton isn't. I don't know. Cam Newton must have another Carl Lewis type reputation because there's, like he said, there's not 64 quarterbacks in the NFL that are better than Cam Newton.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So what has he done? He's burned bridges.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Burned, and then maybe he should pipe down on his podcast or whatever. You know what I mean? But in any event, let's get on to the facts at hand here. I think it's going to be an interesting weekend because who's sitting, who's going. We're going to look at the point spread. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say when we start the playoffs next weekend, the most dangerous team after San Francisco and the Baltimore Ravens is going to be the Los Angeles Rams. You heard it here first.
I thought you were going to say the Bills. I would have had to jump on you for that.
No, and I think the other team in the
I'll push back on the Rams too because they do not look like the same team that won the Super Bowl.
But they weren't even supposed to be here.
The NFC, that wild card's weak though. You know that.
Okay, so at the beginning of the season, who predicted that the Rams would be in the playoffs? I think you're looking at him. Check the tapes.
Did you?
Yes,
I have the predictions right
Please,
here.
right here, and it's going to say.
I don't think you had the Rams in the playoffs.
I bet you I did. Let's take a look.
Oh, you actually did.
Thank you very much. Okay, I had the Los Angeles Rams in the playoffs. I think they're the scariest team. Nobody wants to play the Rams because even though we might have the Stafford Bowl, which is scaring the living hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because I've said for years that I thought Matthew Stafford is one of the best quarterbacks. First of all, I'm biased because he's one of my favorite players of all time. Okay, so I got to put him in that category. But I'm really glad to hear the pundits talking about how great Matthew Stafford was.
Mina Kimes has been tuning his horn too all season.
Which is a great thing because he had to leave Detroit to win a Super Bowl, and then they said that was all Sean McVay and Cooper Kupp and all that shit. And then Stafford got banged up, and now he's back.
Come on.
The guy is unbelievable. You see some of the throws? I seen on NFL Network this week, they were showing throws that Stafford was making the first 3 years in Detroit. And they were going, did people forget what? Did they think this guy just pulled these throws out of his pocket in the last 3 years? Now, they're preaching to the choir because I've seen every snap that Stafford had on the Lions, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, Stafford's numbers are just speaking for themselves this year. Like, he's 6th in passing yards, 10th in passing touchdowns. He's been fantastic.
And missed 2 games.
Yeah.
You know?
Where is he in passer rating? I'm just curious.
The guy makes throws. The defense is young and no name, but they've been playing.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, I think that's the number one problem for this team, though, is their defense, though. Like, Aaron Donald, he doesn't look like the same player he was a couple years ago.
Still solid.
Solid, but everyone in the playoffs is solid. That's what you're going up against, right?
I'm thinking that next year, after this playoffs, they'll have more named players. Defense is good.
Yeah, like through the draft. Like you're saying they're going to make names for themselves?
This year,
okay.
They got 4 first-rounders. And they're thinking, excuse me. How am I dying like that?
Oh, my God. You're getting all choked up talking about your former boy. So it's going to be okay, Cruz.
Okay. No, I love Stafford. I think he's going to be a scared thing. We're going to have our playoff preview next year.
You want to get into our power rankings?
Yes, I do.
I'll start. I mean, the top of our list should both be the same, but we'll do this anyways. Top 5 power rankings going into week 18 of the NFL season. Let's go. Number 5, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, my God.
Number 4, they moved down 1 spot, but this is more because of the team that passed them more than anything, but the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Number 3, the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, I had them on my list last week, remember?
You did. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. And, of course, number 1, the Baltimore Ravens.
No Dallas Cowboys?
They're in my number 5.
Oh, okay. So you got... What did you say?
Dallas, Detroit, Cleveland, San Fran, Baltimore.
Okay, so I'm just about the same. Sorry, fans. My number 5 is the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
My number 4 is the Detroit Lions. Okay.
Who's your number 3?
I'm gonna have to go with. Everyone's gonna think that I'm absolutely crazy.
Don't say the Rams.
What?
Don't say the Rams.
I'm gonna say the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to say it here first.
No.
Yep.
No, they've been.
And then San Francisco number 2 and Ravens number 1.
I can't believe you put Kansas City in your top 5.
They've
been awful. Okay. Offense has been awful.
So who else? Other options that I have?
Dallas.
Okay, but I'm not trusting Dallas after the Detroit fiasco last week.
You're trusting Kansas City after the last few games?
Yeah, I do, because I think they're going to take this week to let their guys go, and they're going to come in and they're going to practice, and I'm going because
I'm worried they're going to be one and done in the playoffs.
I already picked them as returned at the preseason to win the Super Bowl. They would go twice. I'm not sure I'm going to go this twice, but I'm going to say it here first. Patrick Mahomes is going to validate his greatness even more. Because
I don't think he's got the tools to do it with, though.
Oh, I think in the playoffs it could all change.
His offensive line isn't that great.
It's good enough. And the defense are going
to... Debatable.
If those guys make some catches, he is there because their defense...
That's a big if, Cruz, because these guys have not been... It's been a storyline since day 1.
Okay, so now the
season.
percentages are, if you've dropped this much, you got to catch this much. Okay, so I believe this. The percentages have got to come back down to get a little bit more... They can't stay this far in flux.
But these guys have proven that they can't make catches, though. I don't think it's going to balance out the way you say it
No, but then they can't stop dropping so many. They'll catch more. I'm just going to go.
I'm going to say they're going to keep dropping them because that's what history's shown us.
Okay, I'm gonna put this as an example like this. If I just switch over the other night, Mike, if you're listening to the game and we were talking about this and we were talking about percentages in context of the game. I think it was the Memphis and whoever game, but every time a guy went up for a 3, I'd say no, yes, no, yes. And out of the 10 that I picked, I had 8 right. You know why I did it? Because I was looking at the percentages. And no, the rhythm too. In rhythm was huge. But then I already looked and I said one of them was Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain was 0 for 5 on 3-point shots. That guy sinks threes. The next time he was going up for a couple shots, I'll take Bain. Bang, they went in. Okay, so what I'm saying is that these guys have dropped enough passes. It's time to catch one.
I don't think it's that simple, though.
I don't know. Kelsey's dropped a couple of uncharacteristic balls this year. You think he's going to do that in the playoffs? Pacheco's coming back.
He's being drained by his skinny blonde girlfriend.
We're not going to go there.
By the way, I'm going to throw this out here. So Kansas City, I think they're going to poots out in the playoffs. I don't see them making past the division round. Him and Taylor Swift... This is gonna. I don't wish this upon them, but I think there's gonna be a messy breakup. Kelsey's gonna come back better than ever. He's gonna win a Super Bowl MVP the next season.
Woo! So we're gonna get a song out of it. Isn't that how it works?
Oh, 2, I hope.
That's just crazy. I'm not a big Kansas City fan. What I base my thing is I watch a lot of football and I watch history. Hence the reason I picked the Rams to make the playoffs because they were a Super Bowl team 2 years ago. And I'm saying they had a lot of the same core. They had the Super Bowl hangover maybe. Stafford was banged up and a few things
Well, their defense was a lot better than expected.
Okay, there you go because of the 4 first-round picks in the draft there. So I'm saying when you look at it from a long term, the only one that I really screwed up, and if you look at my playoff picks, is we couldn't pick the South. The NFC South. What a mess that is.
I mean, there's a chance either of us are still right there.
I know, but I'm not. I'm just saying I bought a lottery ticket too. You know what I mean? So I'm going to stick with my power rankings though, because I'm going to say wait now till the end. We'll know in the playoffs next year. Because the power rankings next week should be about the same. Because a lot of these games don't matter.
Are we going to still do power rankings next week, you think?
Well, yes and no, but what's the point of going to be doing them? Because
you're in the playoffs.
It's the playoffs now, so it doesn't really matter. Just I'm putting them in now, Kansas City, on the premise that I'm going to be proven right when they win a couple games. Because I almost still put Philadelphia in because I still think Philadelphia can tie their shoes a little bit tighter.
Yeah, they're one of those teams like
they're a little messy too.
That Arizona game, like come on.
Oh my God, that was a disaster.
That game was in their laps. Ready to go. They just had to finish it up in the second half.
Here you go.
Clean it up.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It was
horrible. They gave Arizona a big Christmas gift.
That's what I'm saying. It was, I was stunned. To be my honest opinion,
that changed my fantasy league. That ended up being the difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it was just crazy. I could not. I was blown away. Like this is a team that just came from the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Come on, and you.
But there's been kind of cracks, kind of showing themselves all season from game 1. Even like when Philly looked. When the record was there for Philly, there were people like, I don't know, there's some cracks in the armor there.
And they won some games that were rather whatever. But I want to say this, okay? You hear it all week. Okay, if Scanling doesn't drop that thing. Kansas City beats
Beat Detroit week 1.
Okay, he doesn't drop the ball. He dropped the one against Philadelphia. Kansas City would have won that game. If Tony's line was up one more foot, they would have beat Buffalo. All of that stuff. Luck goes both ways. You got to be good with a little bit of luck to get there. But
Sure.
I don't want to talk about those games in the past because that's just the way they played out. So you're going to say, what if? What if? Well, if I had got 6 numbers last night instead of 1, I'd be a millionaire right now.
Sure.
So, stop that nonsense there. You have to go by what happens in the moment and go on, which is why Buffalo is in the position they are in because they puked up some games earlier in the year that they should never have puked up, and now they're on the borderline of being number 2 to number 7, which tells you how fraudulent a lot of teams are, like the Miami Dolphins. You know what I mean? I hate the Dolphins anyway, so I think that they're...
Speaking of one and done...
I think the Dolphins are in big trouble.
Although if they play Kansas City week 1 of the playoffs, that should be very interesting.
If the weather's bad, Miami's done. I do like their coach. I do like their attitudes. I like what they're doing, but they're
fun to watch on offense.
And they're fun to watch, but I just don't think that they have the intestinal fortitude to go on. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, what we're going to have to do right now, because this is kind of an off week to do things, we still have to pick.
Well, there's one more thing we got to get to.
What's that?
That Detroit-Dallas game.
Oh. Okay. First of all, I am now the biggest supporter of MCDC you can possibly find.
MCDC?
Motor City Dan Campbell. Come on, cut to the chase. You got one pride, baby. This is Detroit City we're talking about.
You can't just throw around these acronyms like people are going to know what you're talking about.
That's because they're not in Detroit. Anybody in the Detroit area knows.
We're a Toronto show, sir.
Okay, well, anyways, we're MCDC. If you now you know. Everybody out there, if you got it straight, if you hear MC,
Motor City Dan Campbell.
That's the first time you heard it?
That's the first time I've heard that.
Well, that's because I'm such a devout Lions fan.
Yeah.
They've been calling him that since about mid-season now. MCDC. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so here's what happened here. First of all, the crew has now been demoted.
Yes.
Too little, too late. This is the second time this has happened to the Detroit Lions. Let me tell you the most egregious call I've ever seen in my life, and it's come up. Thank you, Dan Orlovsky. People forget 2014. Brent Perryman, with a perfect pass from Matt Stafford, got mugged, took his head off, stole his jock and stomped on him, threw the flag. Referees got together, picked the flag up. If Detroit kicks a field goal, they win the playoff game.
In Dallas.
In Jerry's World again. So now we get this year later, and we're saying, we've all seen the videotape. Before the game, they explained to and everybody, they say they changed the rules because of Belichick. I didn't know Belichick was doing this 10 times a game. It's come out now, eh? They go, what do you mean? Belichick does it all the time. The refs know. He gives them a lineup of things. And then they said Belichick would just do it and not use it, just to play with the defense. That's why Belichick's the greatest coach of all time with all the maneuverings that he has done. So everybody knows. Now, what has happened? They said, well, they ran 3 guys over, and Sewell got in the way. So which guy was it? And they said, oh, well, the umpire made a mistake. He should have called 70 instead of 68 or whatever the case may be. Gets back to our original premise. Referees should be full-time employees, doing it all year, going off season to study the bullshit mistakes they made. And if we had won that game, we would have a chance of being the number 2 seed.
Chance at the number 1.
Well, no, San Francisco.
Yeah, no, but if you guys won that game,
then we would have put pressure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Okay. Yeah. We could have had a shot at it, but that's not neither here nor there now. What I'm saying is this is why I like MCDC is, and everyone called him out. And you heard the Detroit interview this week on the local area when he went on TV and he called the guys out. Tell me what you're thinking. They go, well, then good. You said it. We were going to do it anyway. He told the team, everybody was behind him. He goes, if we go down and score, we're going to go for 2 for no matter what. I love a coach like that. That's now the culture in Detroit. Mm-hmm. We're going for it. We're a physical team who bangs and goes for it. We got O-line, D-line that are...
most aggressive team on 4th down in the league.
There you go. But and sometimes they say it's a little reckless, but a lot of those...
That's my problem with it. It's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Sure it is, because sometimes...
at the end of the game there, the Dallas-Detroit one, after the 3rd time, okay, maybe just go for 1 point. Go for the tie. Go for overtime.
MCDC. Okay, I was saying I was sitting on my chair going, okay, but I said
I was watching that game with a bunch of buddies, and we're like, after a certain point, we're like, they're still going for 2? Like, come on.
Come on. That's a blueprint of your team, though. You're going to stop then? Like, if we didn't go, then, okay, we acquiesce.
There's a lot on the line.
Huge. But if we had got the original play, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I get that.
Okay, so that's the problem right there. So I'm just saying this. I'm defending MCDC. Did you guys get that? You know what it stands for? Let's get it straight. Because I'm going to tell you this much. Everybody that's out there that has freaking kicked the Detroit Lions to the curb for all these years, more power to you. For all the Lions fans that are out there bitching, go to hell. We're 11-5, people. We're 11-5.
Yep.
I want to know how many times in my lifetime we won 11 games. Okay. I'll get to that later. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
We can search this up easily.
Stop it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's all good, okay? Like, don't kill me.
But does this really count? It's a 17.
It doesn't matter. Like, it's 16 games. Can't we win 11? I don't know. It's not very often that we have won 11 games. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going through. So 2014, the infamous pick up the flag. That was the last time it happened.
That's what I'm saying. Before that, I think was Barry Sanders' days.
1991, you guys were 12-4.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. And what's in between there? None. We had a couple 10-win seasons, no 11-game seasons.
And then, oh boy, before that, you got to go to 1962.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when I hear my Detroit Lions brethren bitching, I say shut up. Like what? So we've had 3 11-game seasons in my lifetime.
All time with the Detroit Lions. That's it.
That's what I'm saying. So people remember this. This is 11-win season that we got. And when we win tomorrow, it'll be 12.
Actually, in your complete franchise, I guess you have 5, but one of them you were the Portsmouth Spartans.
Yeah, well, that was,
So I don't know if that counts.
No.
There weren't any playoff games in 1931.
No, and that was Portsmouth is like you come down, where Lake Michigan comes down at the very end.
Right.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It'd be like playing in Oakville.
Right. Okay.
Oakville to Toronto. Instead of calling it Toronto, there'd be the Oakville Argonauts kind of.
He had Minnesota Vikings colors. That's just weird.
I don't know how that happened either. Like we switched over, but when Old Man Ford stepped in, he just changed everything.
Yeah, Detroit Lions. Then you got the silver and blue.
Yeah, that was it. We were the Silver Rush for years. That's why we wear those stupid silver yoga pants. You know what I mean? So want to make our picks. Show's dragging on a little long in a good way.
Yeah. Also a quick screw you or whatever to the Carolina Panthers owner for throwing the drink.
What do you do about an owner that does that, really? What do you do? First of all, I heard it best. He should be the same standard as the fans, same standard as the players.
Sure, you come into that arena, you behave a certain way.
Exactly, but what do you do with an owner? They fined him $350,000. You know what that's like? Me finding $20 in my pants when I clean the laundry and go, oh my God, I lost 20. Come on, you know what I mean? Like the money, this guy, I just found out, he's like the second richest owner in the NBA. NFL. Like I did not know. I knew when he came into the league, he was a big money guy, the hedge fund guy and all that stuff.
Sure.
But he's like the second?
Insane.
Wow.
Let's get to the games.
Okay.
First up, a couple Saturday night games. Saturday games. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Believe it or not, Pittsburgh is favored because Baltimore is going to be resting a bunch of guys. Pittsburgh by 3 is the spread. I'm going to take the Steelers. They're hungry for this one. Baltimore.
Is it in Baltimore?
It's in Baltimore.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this. I love Mike Tomlin. I'm saying Baltimore will find a way to win this game.
Wow.
Yep.
Houston and Baltimore signed Dalvin Cook too. I don't know if you caught that too. Another, the rich get richer, right? One of those things.
There you go. Anybody could have had him though. That's why I'm saying he was out there. I didn't know other teams that might need a running back.
Yeah, but I mean, why not hitch your wagon to a team with the good Super Bowl chance, right?
That's true too, because it was his decision.
Yeah, he was a free agent.
Okay.
Houston at Indianapolis. Houston favored by 2.5 on the road. I've talked shit about Indianapolis a lot in this show, and I'll continue to do it. Give me Houston on the road.
This is a very interesting game because one team's going home.
This determines the playoff spot.
Yeah.
And if Jacksonville loses,
there
this is
could
the
be
NFC or AFC South winner.
So I'm going to say, who would you rather have, Gardner Minshew or C.J. Stroud? Okay, so you know who my pick is.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers.
Bucks all day.
Tampa only favored by 4.5 on the road, despite them playing for their playoff lives in Carolina. Give me Tampa Bay.
Because Tampa Bay's done weird shit. When they should have won, they didn't. And then when they didn't,
Carolina.
Division game.
Fair.
But I say Bucks are going to win anyway because Carolina have all got their tickets to go on vacation.
Yeah.
They're just waiting to clean out the lockers.
Sure.
Limousines waiting. Straight to the Bahamas.
This is the only game I didn't pick so far coming into this one. Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cleveland, another team just resting a bunch of starters. Myles Garrett, Joe Flacco, Amari Cooper, all non-participants among a few others. Cincinnati favored by a touchdown. That's 7 points at home.
Cincinnati's favored?
Yeah.
Taking Cleveland all day because you know what's going to happen? A lot of guys on Cincinnati are going to be making business decisions. And you know what that means, right?
But they're also playing for contracts, though, don't you think?
The biggest thing is that we don't understand is they're all playing for incentives.
Yeah.
I seen it on Good Morning Football the other day, which I was absolutely fascinated by. You forget how much money are incentives today. There's a guy that if he gets 25 more snaps, gets $500,000. You get 20 more yards, you get $500,000.
Yeah.
So we don't know all.
Yeah, we don't know that information.
Well, there was a show that if you looked it up, they had a whole list of incentives that would be as long as a freaking telltale tape. But that's an interesting thing. So I really wish I'd know which incentives are going in, but I'm still taking Cleveland.
Yeah, this one, I think it's going to be a backdoor cover. I think Cincinnati's going to win, but I think Cleveland keeps it close. So give me the Browns.
Okay.
Minnesota at Detroit. Detroit favored by 3.5 at home. Give me the Lions.
All day, and they're playing most people, and
they're playing for seeding.
And not only that, there is what did MCDC say? This is fuel for the fire after last week.
Okay.
So they want to make a statement. So, and Minnesota's checking out.
Yeah. Another one that's got the limos ready.
Yeah.
New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Patriots only favored by 2 at home, despite owning New York for the past 5-6 years. Give me New England.
If Pats don't win today, everything about the organization is going to be fraudulent to me because that's the fans and the base. This should be for Belichick. I do believe he's coming back, but just in case.
That might be his last game with the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. So I expect a lot of shit to go on tomorrow, and one of them is a win.
Yeah. A game that could be for a division title with some help. Atlanta at the New Orleans Saints. If Tampa Bay loses, this will be for the NFC South Championship. New Orleans favored by 3 at home. Give me the Saints.
I have to because Atlanta's been fraudulent. Because if you go back and check the thing, I predicted Atlanta to win the division, didn't I?
But Atlanta loves to beat themselves more than any other team. So
and the owner just loses his shit every year. What's this? The Home Depot guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, he just loses his shit all the time. I love the guy, but
cheap concessions in Atlanta. You gotta love that.
What's that?
Cheap concessions
Because he loves the fans.
Yeah. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Jacksonville playing for the division title, favored by 4 on the road. Give me Jacksonville. Tennessee sucks the big one.
I'm taking Titans in the points. You're going to be surprised. Gable is going to be playing for pride, and that's a division game.
Do you think they win it?
A late field goal by Jacksonville, and they win. 4.5, they win by 3.
Okay.
Taking Titans in the points.
Seattle at Arizona. Seattle playing for their playoff lives, favored by 3 on the road against the Cardinals. Give me Seattle.
I have a funny feeling after last week, everyone said that Arizona stole the game from Philadelphia. I think that Kyler Murray is playing for a little bit of pride. Their defense is a little bit better. I'm expecting the upset of the day to be the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, upset of the day. Cruz puts his badge on it. Chicago at Green Bay. Green Bay, another team playing for their playoff lives, favored by 3 at home. I think they own the Bears last time I checked, so I'm taking Green Bay.
This could be the most competitive game all day. I really think because the Bears are going to show up. Fields wants to show what he's worth, so he's going to play, but the Packers have to win. So I'm going to at Lambeau. Can't be 2 years puking it up at home because last year they puked it up against Detroit. Remember, can't do it 2 years in a row.
Oh, yes. I remember that. That was the final game of the season last year, too.
Green Bay win and you're in, lose you're out. Lost.
Kansas City Chiefs at the LA Chargers. Chargers favored by 3.5 at home since Kansas City is going to be resting Mahomes. I actually like the Chargers in this one.
Not me. No, I'll take Kansas City all day. I just put them on my power rankings, remember?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I don't know. You take away Mahomes plus all those garbage receivers.
Blaine Gabbert, man. Blaine Gabbert,
Is that supposed to inspire confidence?
I think that the LA guys have already checked out. They've checked out.
Yeah, but there's guys that are going to be there playing for contracts.
Incentives.
Either way.
Incentives, okay.
Denver at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders favored by 3 at home. Give me the Raiders all day.
If I had 7 points, I'd take the Raiders. That whole Denver thing has turned into a fiasco.
Shit show.
Oh, unbelievable.
LA Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. Both these teams resting a bunch of players. San Fran already confirmed that Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey are going to be rested. LA is going to be resting Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, among others. I'm taking San Fran.
You have to now. You just have to. I don't like that, but you have to. Nobody's going to be playing that game. It's going to be lifeless.
Yeah, it could be one of the worst games of the day.
Lifeless, yep.
Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. Philly favored by 5.5 on the road. Trying to improve their standing. I'm going to take Philly.
All day, because they got to make a statement. We're ready for the playoffs.
Especially after last week.
Yeah, so let's just crush them and see. And if they don't beat the Giants, then they're ooh.
I don't care if it's in New Jersey, but...
I don't care if it's in my backyard. Come on.
Dallas at the Washington Commanders. Dallas trying to hang on to that number 2 seed in the NFC East Championship. Favored by 13 on the road. This one screams backdoor cover to me. I'm taking the Commanders.
I think that Dallas is going to pull it out just because. I think they're going to run up the score.
Wow.
Even though it's a division game, I might change it tomorrow when I go to make my bet. I probably take them Washington on one, but it's another game. You're right.
Sorry.
But I mean, yeah, you know what you're saying about the backdoor cover division game?
I can see them being up big by halftime and then just resting guys second half, and then Washington starts to pull it close.
Yeah. But I'll still take Dallas.
And last but not least, for the AFC East Championship, Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Bills favored by 2.5 on the road. I'm taking the Bills, and it sounds like you are too.
Go Buffalo. I've always had Bills love. I think they're going to come out and crush them. Absolutely crush
them in Miami.
Crush them.
Well, we all remember the last time they played in Miami, how that went. I think that's probably still fresh in the minds of the Bills as well.
Last time they won, didn't they?
No, it was that one that they blew on the last play. Or at least it was the one last year's regular season game
last year,
in Miami.
But this year they crushed them in their house.
In Buffalo. Yeah. I'm saying last time they were in Miami.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Anyways, anybody, if you're gambling on the games tomorrow, good luck, because it's the toughest week to gamble in football. Everywhere I've read, even the bettors, like the so-called experts, everybody's flipping. Who do you take? Who's sitting? Who's got incentives? Are they playing at home? Is it a division game?
Yep.
You know, will it go around in circles? Okay. Now, I think our show's run a little bit long. So before I end,
an update. Calgary up 1-0 on Philly in the second period.
Ooh, there you go. Nice call,
Jonathan Huberdeau, the bitch himself, scored.
Oh, here we go. Big shout out to Shannon Sharp for doing the interview with Cat Williams.
Yeah, I got to watch that.
I've watched a bunch of it. It's just if you ever know who Cat Williams is, the guy's an insane sports fan. That's why I'm bringing it up. But he's also very articulate and very smart, and I believe a lot of things that he said in the thing. And I want to congratulate Shannon Sharp for turning into the interviewer that he has become. Very good.
He's very good.
He's most excellent, and he's been on there. So if you really want to be entered, it is long, by the way, people. It's 2.5 hours.
Well, that's the way podcasting is now. If you know by listening to that, that happens.
There you go. So anyways, we're going to get our little section here, and it's called The Gospel According to Cruz. And I got a few things to say today, okay? Can we start off with our beloved Toronto Blue Jays and what's going on in Toronto now?
What's going on? Nothing.
First and foremost, we won't get to the $600 million they're going to throw out there. I'm just finding it a little bit curious why so many free agents are still on the market, and it's January 6, 2024, when we're about 45 days from spring training opening, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's not get to that right now. Let's just talk to what has really irritated the living hell out of me. Two people that were associated with the Toronto Maple Leafs had interviews today. One was Ross Atkins.
Blue Jays.
One was Ross Atkins, and the other one was Scott Kiermaier. I have not heard
Kiermaier.
whatever his name is. He just pissed me off. Anyways, as you well know, here at the House That Happens, we follow the Toronto Blue Jays religiously because we are Toronto-centric. One of the things that this guy said, Atkins, and it made me sick, is that he goes, we are going to improve our standing in the league this year internally. What? Internal what? What internal thing are you going to show to me that's going to make me say that the Blue Jays are going to go farther in the playoffs? Number one is it's not going to be the fan experience, because every time they talked about the product on the field, he jetsoned back to the more fan appeal that the Rogers Center is going to be because of the continuing construction. When is ever the fan experience won a baseball game? Number one. Never in my life have I heard the fan experience get a batter out in the ninth inning.
I'm sure it's helped once in the.
I've never seen the fan experience hit a 2-run double in the bottom of the ninth to win the game. Never seen any of that. So this fan experience stuff, I'm great for it. When I go down there and it's more baseball enticing, I'm good with that.
Pinball machine.
Whatever the case may be, I'm good with that. Number two is this. Scott Kiermaier came on and said, we are going to be the team that hits our way to a better season. Whoa, wait. All you've done is you hit a no-hit second baseman to come in there for number two. Scott Kiermaier, I'm very happy that you said you're
Kiermaier.
Kevin, whatever his name is, he just pissed me off. I'm glad he's proud to be the best number 9 hitter in position player in baseball. He says, if that's my position, I will be the best number 9 hitter in baseball. That's admirable for you to say that. When you strike out with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, when we need a run, I don't care if you're number 9 hitter or number 2. I want to hit, buddy. So don't cop out on, I was a number 9 hitter. Wasn't my turn to hit. Screw you. It doesn't matter to me, because right now we've got so many holes. First of all, why don't we go out and get Josh Hader? He's sitting out there. Why don't we improve our bullpen? If Romano is our number 1 guy going into this season, I'm nervous. Number 2, our defense has been up and down. Our defense has been pretty solid, but you're going to take away a Gold Glove third baseman like Chapman. I don't know what's going on there. Does they not want to pay him the money? He's sitting out there. Who's going to be helping us on the DH situation? We got Justin Turner sitting there. Worst case scenario, bring in Votto for a hometown thing. He'll be good in the dugout and continue on. And
I don't think he wants to come here.
I don't know. It's up in the air. And another thing is Manoah in as good a shape as everybody's saying he is? And I'm hoping so, because I'm hoping for the big Alex Manoah comeback. But
Manoah.
The number one thing we have to consider is we got all this money coming up on the team very soon with the Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero. I hope those guys went out for dinner a lot during the offseason, which I doubt, because they're diametrically opposed about the way they come to the park and present their game. So that's going to have to be justified. So as a Toronto Blue Jay fan, I am very, very, very worried about where we are going as a team, and we are a big market team that should be doing more. We are going to spend $600 million on Ohtani. Throw that thing around. We got Justin Turner. We got Hoskins. We got Hader. There's a list of guys out there that would improve this team immensely. Because here's what people don't understand in the history of sports. And if I may steal this little quote, it goes like this. Ross Atkins, listen closely. Success is not owned. It is leased. And guess what? The rent is due. Okay? And on that note, I want to just say, Andrew, we may have been long. This is another great show. People are listening. We're saying as good as anybody I've heard on the national sports scene anywhere in North America. I'm putting our show on that table right now.
Hell yes.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Hell yes.
Did we say Happy New Year to our fan base?
Yes, we did. If you're listening, Happy New Year. Hope this year brings you everything you could want and more. Stay healthy, stay safe.
Number 1, please bring more civility and positivity to the planet, because we got a lot of issues in the world that are affecting everybody, and we only hope to make it better. But most importantly of all, we'll never forget each and every one of you out there that's listening to our show. We can't say thank you enough, right, bro?
Thank you so much.
This is the House That Happens. My name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Malani.
And you know what we do?
We keep
the vibe alive.
You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.